All right, people, talk about exciting WrestleMania 36. And this is the recap. I gave you guys enough time to check it out. So now our recap is going out. It's super spoiler alerts if you didn't see it. But this is super cool because not only is it the three of us that you seen on the first episode of the Mighty J.A.D.E podcast, but it's a multitude of people all together, getting together. Wait till you see this. This is awesome. I have so much of my core friends on one thing doing a podcast together. So anyway, guys, check it out. Enjoy. Remember, subscribe to the channel. All right, let's roll it.
And now your mama knows.
So, fellas, what y'all think of Mania?
Okay.
You wanna go down the line?
Yeah, Anthony, we'll start with you. We'll go from the top to the bottom. So we'll start with you, and Eugene, I'll go last.
All right. The showcase of the Immortals. It was lightning. It was action. It was mania. Well, let me tell you something, dude. First of all, sorry. I think it was really ambitious for them to still put it on and not cancel it or try to delay it. And I personally enjoyed it. Like, yes, we know it was no audience, but I feel like I never watched the show and was like, yo, that guy in the third row with the sign. I think once they got good with the camera angles, it was okay for me. They did a good enough job to not show chairs. And they zoomed in so close that you were really into the actual wrestling. And I think it was good. It was good. Does it feel like it was Mania? No. But again, they were ambitious to keep the show, the show must go on. And so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed probably the first day a little bit more than the second day. I think the Undertaker match was cool for me, that ending the show. And I liked it a lot more than the Bray Wyatt.
Really? Okay. All right. Franco, what did you think of Mania?
Oh, I'm second? Oh, this is great. So basically, I think it was really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't WrestleMania good.
Right.
Right? I think with everything going on right now, that what they did, they should use it kind of as the template for Raw and SmackDown and then they keep going forward doing the whole thing.
Right.
That's what I think of it. Were the matches good? For the most part, yes. But for me, WrestleMania, like I agree with Anthony, like the audience not being there wasn't a big factor as far as whether the matches were good or not. But WrestleMania is about the spectacle, right? Like I've always said this, that I think that WrestleMania now versus old school WrestleMania is nowhere near what it is. Like I remember, we're old enough to remember them coming out on chariots because they was at Caesar's Palace.
Right, yeah.
Coming down. The only time you really see anything spectacle-wise like that is like when Triple H makes one of his rare WrestleManias now, comes out with the motorcycle,
Stephanie on the back.
But Mania has this aura to it, you know what I mean? Like all the matches usually are built up to prior to Mania. And I feel like this one, like the Bobby Lashley and
Aleister Black
match was just kind of like, hey, we need another match on the card. Boom, let's throw that on there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and the same thing with like with Otis and Dolph Ziggler, that wasn't a Mania match to me. You know what I mean? Yes, they kind of had a storyline built for it, but it wasn't a Mania type of match.
Right.
So
you got on mute the mic, John.
I won't go too far into it. I'll wait until everybody goes and gives their kind of like thing. And if we go into specific matches, I do have opinions on
a bunch of matches.
But I also want to say that I agree with Anthony on another thing, that the Boneyard match by far was probably my favorite match out of the Boneyard versus the Firefly Funhouse. But I did really like the Firefly Funhouse.
Right.
And I have a reason why I like the Boneyard match, and I'll tell you when we talk about specific matches.
Okay, Rich, what did you think of Mania?
So, my thing with, like, this whole empty arena wrestling, like, it's cool if you have, like, one match. Like, remember when The Rock and Mankind had their match? Okay, that was cool, like as a one shot. But to me, it's just weird without having the crowd there from feeling their energy of the match. It's just, I don't know. I can't get into it.
Okay.
When it comes to
John?
like when it comes to the fun house or like the boneyard, I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's kind of like watching a movie. It's not like a wrestling match to me. It's watching a movie. I want to when you said I'm a wrestling purist, I want to see
How
something
the
in
fuck
it.
does this work?
They like that.
Like
Okay.
that's
So you can
that's
see and
just me.
talk at the same
Man,
time.
that looks just like John.
Yeah, that good.
That's
So,
stupid, man. I can't see y'all. I'm sorry, Rich.
You gotta turn your camera back on. And John, just turn your volume down just a little.
How I do that?
Turn the volume down on your phone. Or whatever device you're on.
Yeah, I think he's on his phone.
Yeah, I'm
You
on
see,
my
this
phone.
is
My
playing the pictures
earbuds.
very,
No, let me
very
put my
early. I want
earbuds
you to
in.
know that. Every so often, he pops up and points at me, and it's driving me fucking nuts.
There he is.
Hey, look at that milk dud.
Yo, what it's doing? It keeps saying I'm in safe driving mode. What the hell is that?
Oh, it thinks you're driving. That's weird.
Thank you very much.
Why? I'm standing fucking still.
You might be able to turn that off.
Apparently, you got to shake.
Swipe over to the left.
Help him out, Eugene.
I
There you
did.
go.
There you go.
No, it's muted now.
No, we can hear you.
No, we can hear you.
Oh my God. I love it.
He got that look. You know, like when a kid finds some new shit.
It's that
And you
look.
try to
I
figure
feel
out how
like
it
you,
works.
because Franco, you, Rich, and him had that same look. Y'all
I
was
know.
mad confused at
I'm
first. What the
I now get to laugh at somebody else.
Rich, if you want to continue.
So like I said, with the boneyard and the funhouse stuff, like it's just basically watching a movie. I want to watch a match like AJ Styles versus Taker. If that was like a couple years ago where Taker was actually like healthy and could like run a full match, it would have been like it would have been on the levels of him and Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
Agreed. Agreed.
So like, I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's WrestleMania. They're trying to do WrestleMania in this crazy, how the world's being right now. But, I mean, I'm not, for what it is, it was good. I can't knock it because it's just the time that we're in. It's just crazy.
No, I feel that.
So I'm not going to knock it. I am kind of critical on WWE because, like, sometimes storylines are corny.
Oh, you ain't lying.
They just need to get to the wrestling.
Yeah, I feel you. All right, so Eugene, what's your take on WrestleMania?
Well, with the limitations they had, they pulled off a decent show. But I also felt as though out of both nights, I felt like half the matches on the first night would have very well been pre-show matches if we was to have an actual WrestleMania without the limitation. Like, I felt like Otis and Dolph, that would have been a pre-show match. The women's tag titles, that would have been a pre-show match.
Disagree.
Thank you. I disagree with that as well.
I disagree.
The Boneyard match, it was fun to watch Undertaker do his character the way he did. Like, he merged American Badass and the Dead Man.
Yeah, that was cool.
And the shit talking just stole it from me. It really did. I smiled the entire time.
Still my thunder, Eugene. Don't be using shit I talked to you about.
What's up, bitch?
That's why you saved it for the podcast.
Yo.
I still think that's a badass name.
Hey, John.
Podcast.
It still got me in safe driving mode. What the hell?
Swipe back over to the left, man.
Swipe left. You keep saying swipe left.
Okay, watch what happens when it swipes left.
We see you.
We can see
it's
you.
still working?
And we hear you.
Stop touching the phone.
What's up? Don't touch nothing. Don't touch nothing else.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that then.
Somebody pop
John,
in
did you watch WrestleMania?
Hell no, I didn't watch WrestleMania.
Okay, Eugene, please finish.
All right. Now, the highlight for me of the entire 2 nights were the Boneyard match and the Last Man Standing match. That Last Man Standing match, I had to stand up and give a standing ovation for that match.
That was brutal. They went in.
And then when Drew got the title from Brock, I stood up and did like the fastest clap in the history. I did like a SpongeBob SquarePants type of clap. I was like,
I actually cheered at that moment in this house.
Yeah.
Everybody, the kids looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah, I was totally like, yes.
so if I had to give this show,
my reaction literally was, who?
So if I had to rate this show right now based on the effort they put in as performers, without a crowd to feed off of, I'd give them a 7 out of 10 with both nights combined.
That sounds fair.
Yeah.
Now,
pretty decent.
Now tonight, I'm waiting to see those promos post-Mania.
All right. I hate Franco. He hates you, Franco. He just wants you to know that.
Nice.
So, all right. Personally, and you have to say this because, with everything that's happening out there right now, they did what they can with what they had.
Oh, my bad, Justin. I forgot to say one more last thing. Rhea losing the title to Charlotte, that was the lowest point of the whole pay-per-view for me.
I'm good. Yeah, we'll get to that because we're gonna get to specifics in a second.
Right.
So WrestleMania for me, it was good. I honestly agree with Eugene, 7 out of 10. They did what they could with what they had. For me personally, not being a wrestling purist, I liked the cinematic aspects of the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse match. And the Firefly Funhouse match was my favorite match of the night. I liked the titles that changed hands, made sense to me, except I agree with Eugene about the Charlotte one. I have no idea what direction they're going with that, but hey.
Yeah, that pissed me off. It really did.
I feel like it makes sense if they do it a certain way, and I'll get to that in a second. What's wrong? You two? Y'all two need your own room to settle this? But on the whole, I thought it was good. I thought, let's see.
Oh, shit.
Franco's over there having problems, yo.
Technical difficulties.
No. So I thought if we're going to bring that up, pre-show matches, I feel like the Bobby Lashley match could have been a pre-show match.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That definitely could have been a pre-show match.
But for
That match was a waste of fucking time.
For so many reasons, I agree with you. And when we talk about that match, I will definitely tell you all these reasons.
But I agree with a lot of what you guys said. I opposed to Rich's opinion. I like the cinematic parts of it. I thought that was really good. Love the Boneyard match. That was amazing. Love the Firefly Funhouse match. I like how they took it, all the old school aspects, how they had John Cena literally reprise his original debut. That was fire. So that's what I dug about the Firefly Funhouse match over the Boneyard match. All right, so let's just start from beginning to end. So we'll start off with Saturday. I should have took notes. So help me out, Franco. What was the first match on Saturday? I know they did the pre-show, and that was Natalya and Liv Morgan. I don't even know if we need to speak on that.
I know we got something. I did what I always do, which I ignore pre-shows.
I'll pull it up.
It was Liv versus Natty, and Liv actually won. Liv actually won that match. So I thought that was cool. I'm hoping they give Liv a push. Huh?
Who won the match?
Liv Morgan.
Okay, so she finally got a W on her belt, huh?
Yeah, so I'm hoping they give her a push. And then, was it the tag team? They did it. Oh, The Miz. Well, The Miz wasn't there. So the triple threat match that wasn't once a tag team match, that was deep. I dug it.
So Can I chime in on that one?
Absolutely, please do.
Go for it.
So I was following that, right? Because I was very interested. I don't know if y'all saw where basically Triple H put out this thing where Roman had removed himself from his match. So for health reasons, he was afraid. He was concerned about his health because he's immunocompromised because of his leukemia. So a lot of people missed the fact that what got him nervous was the Miz showed up for a taping and he was sick. And so Roman like freaked out. He's like, yo, dude, you sick. And so that's why that match came about. Because apparently the Miz is currently in self-quarantine waiting to find out whether he's
got the Rona
for the coronavirus. So that's what led to that match. But I was like, man, this match is going to be some bullshit. And then I watched the match.
That was good.
And I was like, well, damn.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
For me, that match was one of the first matches since John Morrison came back that he got to really be John Morrison.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen him now that he's left WWE. I remember him when he was in WWE as when they were on Eminem. What was it, Morrison?
Yeah,
Eminem, Ms. Morrison.
Melina, yeah. So I remember him then, and I remember him from Tough Enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When he first did this standing shooting star press, and he could flip all over the place and stuff. And I just feel like since he's come back, he's got all this experience, and he's done so many things. He's been Johnny Nitro, he's been Johnny Mundo, he's been Johnny Impact, and he's been a champion in all these different places, and he's put on these great matches. And then he comes back to WWE, and they're like, hey, we're going to team you and the Miz back up, and you're going to do some generic tag team wrestling. I felt like that match, he actually kind of strutted his damn stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not taking anything away from Kofi and the Uso brother, who I will not pretend I always can figure out.
It was Jimmy. I do believe it was Jimmy.
Yeah, it was Jimmy.
I'm not taking nothing away from the one of them, but I felt like the match really let Morrison kind of showcase his parkour and his gymnastic type of things. But overall, I thought the match was good.
Yeah, I thought that was a good match. Anyone else want to extrapolate on that match at all?
I thought the match was fun.
Yeah, I thought
especially the end.
I appreciated the end because it was deep because I feel like the way they handled it, because normal circumstance, I thought they would have given it to Jimmy, because Jimmy's the one who actually undid the hook.
Right.
So I thought they were going to give it to Jimmy, but then the match continued.
Because
Jimmy got it. What's his name? Morrison has hands on it. Kofi has hands on it. But then, so they actually took it to whoever made it to the mat with the belts.
Well, it was deeper than that if you paid attention. So when he unhooked it, fucking Kofi was holding the other side. Jimmy unhooked it, but Kofi was also holding the other side. And then Morrison was trying to grab the belts, and he was holding, and they both headbutted him. He fell, but as he fell, he grabbed the belts. And
he actually unstrapped the belt. Yes.
That's why they did. So he only won. The way they did the ending, he only won is because he tried to hold on to the belts. And I thought that actually made the match.
Yeah.
Everything else that went on with that match was great. But that I thought made the match.
I totally agree.
It was so good. It was an exciting ending, but it makes you laugh too.
Yeah.
Because Morrison had that look on his face like, oh shit, I won?
Yeah.
And Kofi, they looked at each other, it's like, man, damn.
And Jimmy was like, yo, man, why'd you do that?
Yep.
Yeah, and if you look, they were having a conversation just like that. Like, they were like, yo, why you headbutting? Like, the shit was...
that shit was funny as hell.
Yeah, hey, if y'all guys want, I got the order of the matches, if you want to go in order.
Yes.
Do it.
The women's tag team match was first with the Kabuki.
That's what I thought.
Okay. They absolutely right.
I thought that was a good match. I felt like Nikki got to shine a little in that. I felt like Nikki got to shine in that match. There was a good portion of that match where she was in the ring by herself. and she went in.
Yeah, I agree.
I like that match a lot.
Let me interject something there.
Go ahead.
And so we're mature rated, right?
Yeah.
All right, because I want y'all to know I don't care who I offend, right? Because there's everybody's opinion. I just like to point out that the highlight of that match was how fat Nikki Cross' ass was.
Yes.
I loved it.
No, Nikki Cross got a fatty.
They let her look like she used to look on the indies. It's like, you know what? Let's show her off a little bit.
Yeah.
Nikki Cross is actually good looking.
Yeah. No, one of my all-time favorite Nikki lines. This messed me up because Mandy Rose came at her one night and was talking about her looks, and then she's backstage doing an interview, and she's like, "I'm a sex pot." I was like, "Yes." I was like, "Yes, you are."
But actually, to agree with what y'all said about her getting a shine, I definitely agree with it because Nikki Cross is one of those people that when they were in NXT, right? Her and Asuka matches were my favorite matches because you always thought that Nikki could possibly beat Asuka.
Right.
And it seemed like they purposely kept Nikki away from the title as much as possible. Like they would put her in a triple threat. They would put her in a fatal four-way. She had like 1-1 on that. But like she was the only person that seemed like a legit threat to Asuka. So I thought that was awesome that she got a lot of the shine in the match. Yeah. I actually was nervous though that she was gonna get the pin on Asuka.
Yeah, it did. I was like, oh, I only had like one piece of pin.
Which I think would have kind of been like she deserved it. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what's up. I thought that was a good match. Rich, what did you think of that match?
Richard.
Rich.
What?
What did you think of that match?
Really?
What?
It's like the hell with that match.
Like I said, like I only
It's like
see
it was
different
girl.
parts of WrestleMania, so nah. Actually, I like Asuka. It's just, you know, watching her when she was in, Star something? What was the promotion she was in? It's like the Star Wrestling or something in Japan. It's just, you know.
Hey, Rich.
I forget. What?
Rich, my boy is watching Justin's stream. He says somebody needs to wake Rich up.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I only watched bits and parts of WrestleMania. Like I said, it kind of was. Like I said, it was the crowd. The crowd really does make wrestling better.
It does. That's actually something I wanted to mention.
And sometimes it make it worse because when they do stuff like CM Punk, I'll be like, yo, man. Or when they boo random stuff because they don't like stuff, that bothers me.
But here's the thing about the crowd, and I meant to say this earlier when I just wanted to give my initial thoughts. With everything going on, you realize just how much a character the WWE universe is. Like the WWE universe is a character unto itself. So like literally, like compared to like John Cena or The Undertaker or The Rock, like so without the crowd, it is a very different product.
But
and that's something you take for granted when they're there because it's like they're always gonna be there. But like this is the first time in the history of the sport that they're not, and it's like
if you want to be
very different.
Like if you want to be like, take even deeper, each city is a different type of crowd. Like
that too.
Each
city's a different character. Like Chicago is CM Punk.
I'll tell you this: the Philadelphia crowd is the purest wrestling crowd out there.
Right. That's the ECW crowd. They're Ring of Honor crowd. They know what it is.
Yeah, they're the purest. Like if any, like you go to a Philly show and they are going to boo the shitty wrestlers. They're going to cheer the best wrestlers. Even if they're a heel, they're going to cheer them because they can, it's all in-ring performance. Like you go to Philly. If you cannot wrestle, you're going to get booed.
Yeah, but here's my problem with that. It's called WWE, Sports Entertainment. I personally, I like the entertainment. So I feel like not everybody's going to be a super great wrestler.
So the matches aren't entertaining?
Huh?
So the matches aren't entertaining?
but that's not what the E is for. The entertainment is like the extra, the storylines and that type of stuff. It's world.
Well, the match
wrestling
also has to be
entertainment.
entertaining as
But
well.
yeah, I wouldn't watch it if the matches were entertaining.
No. What I'm saying is, obviously, that's a given. The W is a given. But at the end of the day, it's like, if it was only wrestling, there would be no storylines. There would be no Undertaker.
I understand that, but I'm just saying you're talking about I'm talking about Philadelphia. It's
Right.
Philly. That's what you know. If you're
They care about the wrestling.
yeah, they
So,
care about the end.
Eugene, you want to chime in on that match real quick?
Oh man, yes.
Or were
That
you
match
good with
went.
it?
No, I like the match. It went where it needed to go. I'm glad. The title actually changed hands. Because in my opinion, right, the WWE wasn't doing much anyway with the Buki Warriors at the tag.
Tag.
Because for
As
the
a
last
tag
few
team,
months,
they be
right,
dropping
they've
the ball.
been mostly singles matches.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So what was the point of them having the belts anyway?
So they
yeah,
can check.
So I'm glad Nikki and Leslie got the belts. I'm thoroughly happy with that outcome.
Yeah, me too.
But here's my question, Eugene. So there was no point in them having the belts because they was mostly in singles matches or whatever. Do you really foresee that changing by them putting it on Nikki Cross and them? Or are they going to do the same thing? Because my opinion about the women's title match, as far as the way they've been carrying it, is that WWE's not treating the title right.
Oh, absolutely.
No, they're not. They never do.
It's the only title that is literally on all the brands. Like wrestlers,
and there's no story behind, and there's no storyline behind the titles.
Literally billed as the only title for all three brands.
Yeah, no.
So I feel like the women champions should probably be the most visible champions on the brand right now.
They should be wrestling every show, every night. If you even
Raw,
yep,
NXT,
I totally agree with that. They should be wrestling on every show.
They should defend those belts every other week, and it should be on a different brand every week.
I agree.
And the thing is, and the problem is, it started off like that, and all of a sudden it just died down.
Part of the problem, in my opinion, part of the problem is there aren't enough established women tag teams.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah,
where are the Iconics?
Yeah, I'm about to say the ones that you had who were the Iconics, who everybody hated me for this, but when the Iconics won the title, I was all for that shit.
No, I was 100. Yeah, no, I was behind that. I was 100% behind that.
And when he lost the title, I was like, yep.
NXT. And Ant, I need you to chime in on this because I know you were watching NXT hard when this was going on.
Yes, sir.
When the Iconics came together, how fucking annoying were they that they were good? It was good because they were like perfect.
Yes.
And I think me and you made a comment one time, and I was like, yo, it'd be crazy if they had a women's tag division. They would be perfect.
Yep.
We were talking about that, right?
Yes, we did. And I was rooting for them so hard for them to win that belt because they was a complete package, like you were saying. Like everything about them screamed tag team and unity. It just made no other sense for anybody else to get the belt, you know?
Yeah. So when they won those belts initially, I was 100% for that. I was like, absolutely. Totally behind that.
Yeah.
All right. So next match, Dub.
All right, so next match was my boy King Corbin, the greatest wrestler there is, versus Elias.
That was just a filler match.
Yeah, that could have been a pre-show match.
That was
Hey,
a
Rich,
pre-show
hold on.
match.
You're not gonna disrespect the King like that, man.
Yeah. Okay.
See, I'm more of a Elias fan,
I'm
and
glad Elias won that match.
but like I said, it was a filler match.
Yeah.
Definitely a filler match. I don't really got too much to say about the match because it was definitely just a filler match. It's like a throwaway match.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say, and again, I think Anna will agree with me on this. I was kind of to the point where I'm like, why even waste those two in that match? Because they're two guys that are underused and underappreciated. Like Baron Corbin is a dude that I'm sorry, I would have gave him the title a while ago just because he's a dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He's a perfect heel. And then Elias, they can't figure out what he's a heel, he's a face, he's a heel, he's a face.
Yeah.
He turns like once a week, don't he?
He's the new Big Show.
He flips pretty quick.
Yes.
He flips pretty quick. Yeah.
So that was a throwaway match for me. I would rate that match as like a D and not even because of the two guys in the match.
Right.
Just the fact that it was a throwaway match.
Yeah, it was unnecessary. Entirely unnecessary.
Built up to no razzle dazzle to the match, and for it to be on the card with some of those other matches,
yeah,
and not
it
let
was
them
very
bring something special to it.
Yeah, no, it was mediocre. It was compared to everything else. It was mediocre.
That's all I got for that.
Yeah. So that's it on that. Anthony, next match.
Women's Championship match. Raw Women's Championship match. Becky versus Shayna Baszler.
I thought this was fire. Oh, you heard Captain Planet groan over there.
This what me and BG ain't gonna get into it, because my whole thing for that match, the thing that made that match for me, and let me tell you something. First of all, I'm a Shayna Baszler fan. I'm a Becky Lynch fan.
Right.
And this is why I said me and Eugene gonna get into it. Because Eugene used to say, oh, Becky Lynch's voice is so annoying. I don't understand why people are. I said, man, you crazy. Becky Lynch gonna come up.
He was legit talking about, oh, people on Twitter said Becky Lynch shouldn't talk anymore. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah. But
literally making shit up.
That match for me was the fucking end. Because that ending made Shayna Baszler look really strong, but it also made Becky look really smart. Because to me, the ending spoke to Becky couldn't figure out how to put Shayna away. But, you know, Becky gonna fight regardless. So Shayna couldn't put Becky away. And when Shayna finally got Becky in the Karaputa clutch and she was about to tap her, Becky does what? She gets smart. She flips over backwards. Shayna's shoulders are on the mat. Shayna's so locked into her finisher, she doesn't realize it.
Right.
Gets pinned. Becky hauls ass with the title.
But my only thing about that was I think that's the same way Kairi Sane beat Shayna on NXT.
She did.
Yeah.
She did beat her like that one time.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, you know what it did? Two good things. It kept Becky as the man, and it didn't really take so much away for Shayna because the finish.
I don't think it took anything from Shayna.
No, because for most of that match, Shayna had Becky on the ropes. There was quite a few moments in that match where Shayna could have just took it and it would have been done.
Yeah. But I think that finish was smart because it didn't take away from Shayna. It's like, yo, you didn't pin me. I mean, like as if you knocked me out and pinned me. You know, it was a good. It was smart to end it like that. And now we could get Shayna be officially called up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even officially called up. You could also continue the feud.
Yeah, that too. But I just feel like it wasn't official that she was on Raw. It's kind of like, is she on Raw? Or is she not on Raw?
That she was NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I was cool with that match.
No, that was a good match. I like that match a lot. I like both of them, honestly. All right, is anyone else or next match? All right, next match.
All right, so the Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn, the guy with the most character versus Daniel Bryan.
Oh, that match was so stupid.
What a waste of talent.
Yeah, complete waste of talent. That match was super dumb, yo.
They just hating on my boy Sami.
Hey, you know what's fucked up about that match?
He's a fucking top tier wrestling talent.
And then get played as a joke in that match.
Yeah, that whole match was a joke.
Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan, fucking Shinsuke Nakamura, who's like the most poorly used.
Oh my God, yes.
This is on the main roster, and that was a waste of a fucking match.
They might have well had Doink the Clown come out with his bucket of confetti.
For real.
Let me tell you.
First of all, let's just say how. Let's just say how weird it is, right? First of all, you got a group of three guys: Cesaro, Sami Zayn, and Shinsuke. First, it started off with Sami pretty much being there, like, I don't know, whatever you want.
Valet, no, he was their valet.
Yeah, and Shinsuke had the belt, and then easily Sami get it, and it's so weird, like, and Shinsuke's cool with it. Yeah, you're the.
Can I say what mind fucked me? What mind fucked me was when, first of all, how they were in a, because it wasn't like a four-way match basically, because they turned it into, they made the match. Well, yes, they built the match as a 3-on-1, but during the announcement, they said whoever gets the pin wins the belt. So at the end of the day, it was a four-way dance.
Right.
So So what I was waiting to happen was either Cesaro or Sammy or Shinsuke go for the pin, and one of them pulls them off.
That's the other one off, yeah.
Like, yo, what are you doing? Like, I was waiting for Sammy to go for the pin, and Shinsuke snatched him up.
Right.
And then when it didn't happen, I was like, huh?
Yeah, like he won it, and then they went out and celebrated. Woo,
Yeah.
Sammy won.
I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Right.
Yeah, I was highly upset with that.
But honestly, the person who's benefiting the most out of this is Drew Gulak. Like,
But out of this particular storyline, absolutely. He's getting mad push out of this.
Yeah.
He's building mad heat.
He's getting a green rub.
Yeah.
Here's the funny thing about Drew Gulak is I personally know him. Fucking when I used to go to ZZW shows, every time I go, I'd be like up by the merch table. I just hang out there, you know, bullshit with a couple of the guys. And every time I was up there, Drew always picked me up. It's like, hey man, what's going on? How you doing this month? Well, we fucking have long conversations. And I mean, me and Franco actually went to his DDW show last June, and he was there. And you know, he's been wrestling in freaking NXT and 205 Live for a couple of years, and he's like, he still remembers me. So
he was there for the show for Loud.
Yeah. So like I said, like,
yo, boys, need to get him hookers up.
Yeah, I wish, man. I'm not like that, boys, but no, like if he sees me, like we actually have a friendly conversation. Like, oh, how's your weekend going? But like watching him from ZZW into like the main roster, that Cesaro and his match in the pre-show could have been 10 times better for what those guys can do.
Yeah, I believe it.
Just like it was just it was a filler match. It was just like, okay, let's throw this in.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with the whole match was remembering the wars that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens used to have back in the NXT days, right? And them two used to go. I mean, they used to go in. And then watch them transition to what you had last night. I was like, the fuck is y'all thinking?
Well,
why is he a joke character now?
That's kind of been my question for a little while. Like, what actual condition is Sami Zayn in? Because obviously, if you look at it, you can tell he's going full on dad bod, first of all.
Right.
He's literally has not been, he's been back for a hot minute and literally has not been touched till WrestleMania.
And there's some underlying injury they had that we don't know about.
Touched till WrestleMania.
All I want to say is I love the theatrics he put on when he come out the Shinsuke song. Nobody's more hype than him.
He's like a headbang and shit too.
Hilarious.
Yeah. But so I'm wondering what his deal is, because I feel like he hasn't wanted to wrestle in a minute.
What's the side of the door over there on the outside?
That's my question. But all right, yeah, but that match was booty butt G's.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. Okay, next match, Doug.
All right, so we already talked about the tag team match. The tag team match was next. The SmackDown tag team match. We already talked about that.
Yeah, so we can go to the next one.
So the 24/7 championship, if you just want to talk about it real quick.
I do think it's funny, you know,
right.
Truth comes out, and I like how, you know, they already build this, you know, Hype Bros 2.0 with Gronk and Mojo.
Right.
But then when Gronk goes for the pin, Mojo's like, nah, bro.
It was funny, actually. He said, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? And then the best part was, he pins him, 1, 2, 3, gets up, gives Gronk a little shove. He's like, come at me, bro, I ain't running.
The one thing I will say about Gronk is he's like the only like NFL player that like I just want to go to like fucking Vegas and like fucking party with him the entire weekend. He's just like that type of guy you want to be around.
Yeah.
That's why he's the host, man.
That shit was hilarious. And then you have, that was a 24/7 champion. What was next?
All right, so after that was the Kevin Owens and the Monday Night Messiah. My boy,
they put on a fucking classic. Can we respect the fact? Can we respect the fact that Kevin Owens beat Seth Rollins twice in the same night? Can we just acknowledge that?
No,
Yes,
no,
sir.
no.
No?
No.
No.
Kevin
Yes.
Owens lost.
No.
No, Kevin Owens beat him twice.
Kevin Owens beat him twice. Seth got
One
DQ'd
by disqualification.
and then restarted the match as a no DQ match and beat him again.
That first one didn't count, man. It was a disqualification.
In the record books, it's an L.
One by DQ.
In the record books, it's an L.
Whatever, man.
Here comes a new challenger.
So anybody want to chime in on that before I go?
I thought that match was great.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, no. When Seth went completely dead silent
Hands
after
up.
taking that stunner, I was like, oh shit. Who just came in?
Yeah,
Christopher Neal, friend of yours, though?
So
No.
for me, that match was one of the matches that had a lot of undertones to it. First of all, I think it was one of the best matches of this Mania. But what I feel like a lot of people missed, that may have been the best payoff of a storyline that Kevin Owens has been a part of.
Yes.
Since he's been on the main roster.
Right.
Fact.
Kevin Owens' run on the main roster has been so kind of wishy-washy, including his Universal title run. You kind of was like, I remember Kevin Owens used to come out and just fuck people up. Like, you really didn't get that anymore. So, first of all, Kevin Owens is gangster on the mic.
Yeah.
Right? So, the whole thing with the DQ and him grabbing the mic and then telling Seth to come back and fight him again. And he was like, no disqualification. Come on, Seth. You proved to me you the Monday Night Messiah and all that stuff. I thought that was an excellent way to go with that because when it first with the DQ, I was like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah,
No, absolutely. I did not want it to end that way, and I'm glad it didn't.
And then for them to restart it and to come back. But here's flip it to this. For Seth to actually come back. He went from being a cowardly heel to being the Monday Night Messiah for me, really.
Right.
Because Seth is starting to turn into that heel that actually wins his matches by fighting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that Triple H
He does
heel.
all the heel stuff. He cheats and stuff like that. But you now feel like Seth will legit come back and try to fight a bitch. Like, Triple H used to fuck people up.
Bro.
As the heel. And you would get mad. You would always win.
Yeah, and I like that. I always like you could compare people to the Triple H type of heel. I love that he was the heel that could run, but if he want to, he'll turn around and beat the hell out of you.
Exactly. And see, Ann will appreciate this because me and Ann had this conversation where I was like, I don't like Seth Rollins. I think he's overrated. I think just that. By the end of this feud, I now appreciate Seth Rollins as a heel.
Right.
I think he's a way better heel than he is a face. Because as a face, it's almost like, it seems like he tries really hard as a face.
Right.
And as a heel, it's just natural.
His
Monday Night Messiah persona is the best Seth Rollins persona so far.
Well, here's what's funny. My favorite CM Punk was the Straight Edge Society. And I swear it's like the same script. Like
kind of, sort of, yeah.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I personally like Seth Rollins since he's definitely one of my favorite. I personally liked him when he was running around with Jimmy J&J because that was hilarious. That was my favorite. He was probably the worst wrestler at the time, like in his career, but just the antics of him always having them help him was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yep. But that was a good heel run too. But so for me, that match had a lot of undertones. It definitely gave Kevin Owens that good rub he needed.
Yes.
In order to put him back to the fight Owens.
Right.
And it definitely established the Monday Night Messiah as the bona fide heel of the roster. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they need to put the title on him anytime soon.
No, not at all.
Just let him run around as the Monday Night Messiah, saving Raw for everybody.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. What did you think of that match, Gene?
I gave that match to him, by the way.
I love that match from top beginning to end, Joe. When Seth was talking shit the entire match and that stunner hit him, He went dead silent. I was like, I just started laughing, yo.
Yo, well,
That's
yeah, I will say that with
almost-
the no crowd now, I appreciate the emphasis on the in-ring banter, the in-ring back and forth with big
Yeah.
talk. Like,
So it wasn't just me. Y'all know that too. Doesn't it seem like they definitely turned their mics up? in the
oh,
ring?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That shit was loud as shit.
Yeah. They definitely.
At least we didn't hear them call the matches. At least they hit that.
All right, you ready? You ready for the stutter?
Okay, clothesline.
The only time you really remember a wrestler screaming out loud is no other than "Axe him! Axe him!"
Yeah.
Jericho. Like,
And nobody calls matches like John Cena this year. Because John Cena was notorious for calling his matches so fucking loud that the fans in the front row could hear it.
Yeah. No, that was a good match.
It was definitely a good match.
All right, next match, Dub.
all right, so Franco, I'm glad you on here so we could talk about this. And I know what you're gonna say, but wrong.
Transitional champion.
I
Now,
already gave my opinion about that.
Now,
He
here's the
only
thing.
got the belt because Roman couldn't compete that night.
I agree.
No, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
But
Really?
I
You don't
also-
disagree with it?
I said I don't disagree with that.
Oh, but when you and I
No,
talked about
what
the
I
night
said
of,
is,
you disagreed with me.
No, I didn't. I said he's not deserving of it, though. I didn't say I didn't disagree with that. That's exactly why he got the belt. Duh. They didn't just replace Roman with Braun. They put Braun in Roman's place because Roman made a choice. That's what I said. But I still think Braun is deserving of it.
Yeah, he deserving of it, but the way he got
Literally,
the
what
belt
I matter of
was
fact, I remember
fucked up.
exactly what I said to you. I said he got it early. He got it early.
They're gonna take it from Braun again because they're still building Braun up.
Yeah, no, Braun's gonna lose it sooner than later.
But they're
I
still
gotta
hyping and
disagree
building
with
him
y'all.
up
Yeah.
for sure.
Chris, by the way, welcome to the
Disagree with y'all saying Braun
Almighty
deserves
Jade
it.
Empire podcast. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Chris, how did you slide in here? I might ask.
I saw it from the chat and I was like, oh shit, there's the code. And I said, let me jump in.
Okay, so we know you through Destiny then.
Of course. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
SD Neil. Yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
That's
You gotta change your name to SD Neil.
I will.
All right,
Most people know.
that's
Most
what
people
it
know
is.
my. Most people know my name. That's why. So
Yeah,
most.
yo, for real talk, Justin's like, is that one of your friends? I'm like, I don't know. So I'm texting Justin like, who the hell is this dude?
Oh, y'all tripping.
Hey,
I'm sitting there like,
This guy
come
almost
on.
every day. Y'all know who he is.
I'm like, my last name doesn't make it obvious.
Eugene.
Justin.
I was gonna say Franco and some of the others should know my voice by now. But yeah, all
Yeah, I
purpose.
know
You haven't
you
been in
know.
none of our
I saw
chats
you
in a
when you
minute.
first came
I
in.
know, man. I gotta jump back in there.
Yeah.
But back on subject.
AP's like, I'm playing every game but Destiny right now. So fuck it.
Who you
Jumping
telling?
around, man. Jumping around.
So listen, let me pull y'all back to the match.
Sorry,
Let me pull
yeah,
y'all back to the subject of the match. With
Don't
Braun
worry about
Strowman.
talking about Sunday. I didn't watch it yet, but please continue talking about it so I can hear because I'm gonna watch it later tonight and then I'm gonna watch Raw afterwards.
I bet.
So listen, I gotta be the one to be the negative Nancy here. When I heard y'all say y'all felt like Braun deserves it, right? Totally
No,
disagree.
I think they said Braun didn't deserve it.
No, I think Braun.
I said-
I don't think it's his time, but I do think he's deserving of it.
What I said
Yeah, you
was
said he
like
was a-
Braun would not
Like,
have.
until
when
he
saw
fought,
that
I
time,
wanted
it
him to
was a
win it.
moment decision.
Right.
Here's why I disagree. So, Ant's a huge Braun Strowman fan, and I told Ant a long time ago that Braun Strowman's gonna get real hot, and then he's gonna fizzle out, right? I feel like I've been proven right. He got real hot,
You're right.
and he fizzled out.
You're right.
Now, when he was really hot, and he was fighting Brock Lesnar, and he was fighting
Roman Reigns.
Right. If he had won it then, I would have been still saying to Ant, oh, he's still going to fizzle out. But he deserved it then.
I agree.
The Braun that we see right now, he doesn't deserve it. He lost all his mystique. You know what I mean? He kind of lost the mystique of the monster among men. Like, if the monster among men from 2 years ago beat Goldberg, okay. I'm cool with that. But him beating him now is just kind of like, hey, he's going to hold the title until COVID-19 passes, and then somebody's going to take it right off of him.
And
Well,
that's
no, I agree with that.
That he only got it because of, you know, the whole
Because
thing with Roman. Now here's
Roman
the
stepped
thing.
away.
The problem with
And I
Braun
don't think
is
Roman was the right person to put the belt on at the time either. But I understood why they were doing it because they were going to bring. They had to get it off of Bray because they realized they made a mistake putting it on the Fiend.
Yep.
Because the way you built the Fiend up, nobody should be able to take that belt off of him.
Right.
He's better without
Me
the
and Eugene
belt.
had that conversation way in when he took 7 head stomps and was like, and still beat Seth. We're like, they have a problem now. They painted Bray into a corner, and they have a problem now.
But also, that makes sense that Goldberg took it off him. Well, like, what? One jackhammer?
It was going to take, and this is what I explained to Eugene, it was going to take someone with the mystique of Goldberg to beat the Fiend.
Yeah, because that's the only way you can let it slide.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, here's the thing about that. So that's where I was getting to. So basically, them bringing Goldberg in to take it off the Fiend, and then if you pay attention, you got to look at their Twitter feeds and stuff like that. Goldberg gave a really good explanation about how he was able to beat the Fiend. He literally said, you put me in a ring with anybody. He's like, at this point in my career, he said, I can beat anybody. He said, but I got to be quick off my first step.
Yep.
And it's got to be fast. He said, because once it gets past a certain point, you know, he's like, age is going to factor into it. These guys are top of the game.
Yeah, he ain't got the breath for it
Conditioning
anymore.
don't show, right?
Yeah, he ain't got the breath for it anymore.
He says, I can take anybody quick. So he definitely put out there that in a different circumstance, in a different situation, the Fiend would have beat him. So that was a good person to use for him to take it off because he's not there all the time. He's not somebody who you see week in and week out.
Right.
And like,
because he's busy filming NCIS.
He has that.
They're extending his contract on NCIS. He can't be there all the time.
He has that mystique of somebody who, you know what, he's a one-hitter quitter. He could come in, take somebody.
Powerful.
You know what I mean? And it was sudden. And what was cool about it was after he did it, the Fiend got up right away.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things like, oh, you caught me off guard. Boom, and then he disappeared. And I knew at that moment, I was like, there's not going to be a rematch. They needed to get the belt off of him. So
he's going to lose it from someone else. Yeah.
Different matches. And they can put that belt somewhere where it needs to be. Now, Braun being deserving of it right now, I don't agree. Him being the right person when Roman was out of the way, I agree with.
Right.
Because Braun will bring it back on TV. He'll have a couple good defenses, and then you can put him up against a couple really good people who you might want to take it off of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now you give me the old Monster Among Men. Yeah, I'm not going to be a fan of him, but I think he would be a good champion. I think in the climate right now, though, he's not the right person to be champion.
So me being a Braun's one of my fave 5. I agree with you 100%. Everything you said is perfect. Like, perfect. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And don't mistake it. I don't hate on Braun.
Right, no.
Not anymore, you don't.
It's not that I'm hating on him. It was this. I call it like I said when it comes to those big guy wrestlers, and like he got hot real quick, and I was like, that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. He's gonna fizzle out, and they did it. They where he fizzled out, where they overused him, is him and Roman's feud.
I agree. I feel that went on for way too long. That went on for way too long.
It was too long. Either let him go over Roman or let Roman go over him and move on. And that could have set Braun up for a good
here's the problem.
chance to get a good run.
I like to call that the Ryback syndrome. This is what happens. When they get somebody super hot and then
I miss Ryback.
And just keep not giving them the belt, the fans just going to be like, all right, don't push them to the moon and don't give them the belt. Like, people going to just stop following.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I miss Ryback. I was talking about Ryback the other day. I was like, Ryback needs to come back.
Watch your show
What the fuck
on
happened?
YouTube.
Missed him, man.
Okay, for sure. I'll look at it.
So that leaves the Boneyard match.
Yes, sir.
Woo!
Yes.
Man, oh man.
Yes.
I had fun watching that one.
That was shit.
That was fun.
I had a lot of fun watching that.
That was really entertaining. I love Dave.
Yeah. That Boneyard match was wild.
before y'all go all in, let me point out that Matt Hardy on Twitter gave a super shout out to that match.
Oh wow.
Like that old Matt Hardy match. That one was exciting too. It gave me a lot of flashbacks to that
Ultimate
match when Matt
Deletion?
Hardy fought. Yeah.
The Ultimate Deletion match. Because if you really look at the Boneyard match, it's Matt Hardy established that brand of wrestling.
Matt Hardy-esque. Yep. Hands
And
down.
when somebody pointed that out to Matt Hardy on Twitter, I think trying to take like a little sideways jab, saying, "Oh yeah, it reminds me of this." Matt Hardy gave this really good comment where he was like, he loved the match, and he really appreciated the fact that the broken universe was able to inspire and bring out more in other wrestlers, and he thinks this is something that will go on and will go through all the wrestling. And I think it was a great idea, first of all.
Yep.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think it was
When I
great
saw
because-
that, the first thing I thought was Matt Hardy.
Yep.
Hands down. I was like, I'm inspired just because of Matt Hardy, what he did. That made it more epic. And in this time we're living in now, it was a perfect lineup and match to end off the first night.
Yeah, that's what was really cool about it for me. To end the show off with this like movie theatrical type match. That was cool.
Well, that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping WWE, being in the situation now we're in, you can't have the fans there, take the opportunity to be a little bit more cinematic. For me personally, I was happy to see that. I thought, and the match itself was awesome. Like, it was hardcore. It was, and Eugene said it earlier, it was the perfect mix of the Dead Man and the American Badass. I was like, oh my God, yes.
So check this out. So I had this debate with a guy at work when he said, "Yeah, he's gonna be the American Badass. Oh, he's gonna be Dead Man." The reason why this match resonated so much with me, I got a little emotional during this match, right? Not to sound all funny about it, but I grew up on The Undertaker.
Oh, yeah?
I was watching wrestling when The Undertaker debuted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
All
I
kids.
remember The Undertaker as me, Mark Callis.
Coming out with Brother Love.
You know what I'm saying? So I remember before WWE was me, Mark Callis. I remember when he was
The skyscrapers, Franco, the skyscrapers.
Yes.
Yeah.
The skyscrapers. So
Yeah.
I always remember him. So
Dan
for me,
Spivey.
Yep.
he's always been a part of
Dan
my
Spivey.
wrestling life. So what I saw during that match was not The Undertaker. It wasn't the Dead Man. It was something that we thought we would never see. Undertaker, he literally completely gave up the kayfabe of his character. And he wrestled as Mark Calloway. And for me, that was a really big deal. Like, we know wrestling is pre-done, it's fake and all this stuff. But for me, that was a really big deal because he's the only person left that protected his character.
Yep.
For so long, and for him to be comfortable enough to finally give it up, and for him to trust AJ Styles enough to do that was phenomenal for me.
Yeah.
And we have now seen his beginning trail into his retirement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Undertaker should retire on this note.
I'm not saying that's his last
Maybe
match.
not on this note. I don't think that's his last match. He's still got a few more in him.
He's retiring.
I'm talking about
that
as
was a
his
great
new
sell
gimmick.
from AJ. That was a great sell from AJ for his legacy for sure, hands down.
Yeah.
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 Yes. But that being said, I like how he infused aspects of all his different characters.
Yeah.
So you had obviously you had the American Badass with the way he was carrying himself a lot.
That's what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff, he was big evil, right? And then how he never rolled his eyes, never sucked his tongue out. But at key moments, he did two Dead Man things. One when AJ threw him in the grave, and he disappeared from the grave and appeared behind AJ.
Yep.
So sick.
When AJ was running from him on top of that rooftop, and he brings the flames up,
So sick.
he goes right back into like a normal dude move. I thought that shit was dope.
Yeah, man.
Now let
He
me
definitely gave a shout out to all his characters in all their forms in that match. I respected the match. Yeah, I agree with Rich. Like, it wasn't wrestling purity, but it was what we needed on that show.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And honestly, when that match ended, it made me so hyped for the next day. I was like, oh man, I'm waiting for
The next day was a hard act to follow.
Yeah.
It definitely set the
It
stage.
was. It was.
I was definitely watching the next day, like, what are they going to come with? Because
Right.
they got some shit to deal with right there.
All right. Gentlemen, that's Saturday in the can. Sunday night.
Yes, sir.
All right.
First match, Dub.
All right, so we kind of mentioned the kickoff show with Liv.
Oh yeah, we're not playing the kickoff.
Rhea Ripley, man, and Charlotte Flair.
The match was good, but I do not agree with that ending.
Can I say one last thing?
I damn sure didn't.
Hold up, can I say one last thing about the Undertaker?
Go ahead.
Let me just say one last thing about the Undertaker. The one cool thing I feel like is he kind of pulled a Stone Cold as far as wrestling. Remember when Stone Cold became Stone Cold? He didn't have to put on great matches. He just beat you up. So I feel like Undertaker now, as Mark Calloway, if we're going to go there, he can actually have good matches, and you don't expect him to run and dive out the ring as the Undertaker. You don't expect him to run to do that crazy DDT. He can just literally have matches and just beat people up, stomp them out, and you can actually, because he's older now. So when you look at him now, you're like, man, he's not the Undertaker. Well, now he doesn't have to be that Undertaker, and he could be the old, cool, biker-looking dude with the, headband, and you'll appreciate his matches and not feel like, dude, just for time.
I can see that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that.
But yeah, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair.
So I just want to say something about that match real quick. I thought in and of itself it was a good match, and the only reason I think it went the way it did, I think they are setting up Charlotte Flair to beat her father's record. So that's why, because if you remember early on, her and Sasha went back and forth for like a straight 4. So she really got her first 4 off Sasha Banks from the rip. So as soon as I saw that,
11 titles now?
She's 11 now. So she's 11 world championships now. So when she initially came in, they had to let John Cena beat Rick's record. I thought they might, they didn't. And then when Charlotte came in, that's Rick's daughter. So Rick,
Justin, real quick, housekeeping. Who's watching TV that's kind of loud? Is that Rich?
Yeah, I hear that too.
Not me.
Yeah, somebody turn your TV down. Just little housekeeping rules.
yeah, appreciate that. So I feel like they are setting Charlotte up to beat her father's record. That's why she's going through these titles so fast. So with as many times as she's won SmackDown and Raw, I think they wanted to switch it up a little bit and put the NXT title on her. They're not counting her first 2 NXT championships because at that point, NXT wasn't a fully established brand. It was still NXT, the Performance Center. Now NXT is a brand. It has its own night, its own show, it's on USA. That championship is established. That's number 11. Still don't like the match. Still don't like the fact that she won. Kind of weak to me.
So for me, I thought the match was good, right? But I absolutely agree with the fact that I feel like they're setting Charlotte up to try to beat her father's record. What I don't agree with is, why would you do it off the back of possibly the hottest female coming out of the development brand at this moment? Like, white hot. You literally just threw fucking ice water on it.
I disagree, man. Here's the thing.
Go ahead, Doug.
Here's the thing. I think you guys, so think about it. When you watch NXT, here's how NXT goes. When you lose, then you get the call up. I feel like this is going to benefit Rhea. Let Rhea, listen, look at it this way. You're going to lose Rhea in NXT, but then you're going to get Charlotte Flair, which is going to be like, it's like when Finn Balor going back to NXT. That's a big deal. So having Charlotte go to NXT is like, first of all, Charlotte is bigger than Finn Balor. So you get Charlotte to go to NXT, and then you get Rhea Ripley to get the call up. It's perfect.
I can't agree with you, bro. Like, Charlotte Flair is like John Cena and fucking Roman Reigns when they just shove him down your throat. I don't know anybody who wants to fucking see Charlotte Flair as a fucking champion.
So here's the thing. I would agree with you, but here's the thing. Charlotte Flair, reason why I don't put her in the same category as them two, John is okay. He's not the greatest wrestler. Roman, Roman's decent. Charlotte has everything. Charlotte she has the it factor. She's good on the mic. She can wrestle. So Charlotte is literally a prodigy. Like she can do everything. So I feel like
I hate Charlotte Flair as a wrestler. Not that I hate her as a wrestler, right? But like the things you pointed out, saying that she has, I don't agree 100%. Like saying she's good on the mic, I definitely don't think she's good on the mic.
Okay.
She fucking sounds sometimes like a fucking mongoloid repeating the same thing over and over again. And
she can't sell herself for shit.
She always tries to say, oh, I want to build my own legacy. I'm not going off my father's legacy. And this is literally what she does every match. You want to come at the queen? Well, you better be prepared for the outcome. Pause. 3, 2, 1.
Listen.
She needs to practice with her dad a little bit.
Rehearsed. She needs to back up off Rick's nuts. You know what I mean? And forge her own legacy. Like, yeah, use the fact that she's Ric Flair's daughter. That's cool. But yeah, she's a great wrestler. She's a great athlete. But look at who they built her up off of their backs. Like, you burying better wrestlers than her. You know what I'm saying? You're burying better personalities than her. You know what I'm saying? They put so much focus on pushing Charlotte Flair down your throat that they killed Bayley, who should have been the perennial babyface. Bayley should have came to the main roster and been fucking John Cena. Instead, you booked her wishy-washy as fuck. So nobody got behind her and she got stale. Same thing with Sasha Banks. Probably one of the best heel female wrestlers out. And what did you do? You wanted to really put Charlotte over, so you buried the shit out of Sasha Banks with her. And then you fucking gave Charlotte Oscar streak.
Right.
Who you should not have given it to.
Well,
if you want to give Oscar streak to somebody, give it to somebody that it's going to benefit.
Let me ask you a question.
Somebody who needs the rub.
Let me ask you a question.
Charlotte didn't need the rub at that time.
I just feel like
you do the same thing to Rhea Ripley, who just got established, who just came up and got super white hot.
No, but you don't listen. What you don't get is for Rhea to lose, so now she can get the call up. So it's a bigger picture for her to get called up on Raw than to still be on NXT. Well, I don't see why you don't get that.
All right, let me.
She's gonna get called up and get lost in the shuffle. That's
not necessarily.
Before y'all jump in, let me just take this to Anthony. Anthony, you and I are big NXT fans, correct?
Yeah, correct.
At this point, do you honestly think a call-up is the best thing for some of the talent on NXT? NXT is a way better brand than SmackDown and Raw.
I agree, but
it does not need to be called up.
I agree.
We went from UK to NXT in the course of a couple months, and you're going to snatch her right to the main roster?
No, I agree, but as hot as she is, just think about WWE as a whole. As hot as she is, WWE is going to want to grab her, and for her personally, that's a bigger deal for her. Now, for her, she could probably really want to go to the main roster. Obviously, everybody want to eventually make it, besides Tommaso Ciampa or some people. But you know, so
I'm really glad. This is funny. I'm really glad I'm in between you two, because you both got me really thinking. Because on one hand, I agreed with Anthony about the call-up. I also agree with Franco.
I agree with him first.
I'm not done. I also agree with Franco about her being buried. But now that the more I think about it, I don't agree with Anthony anymore, because is it really a call-up? Because NXT is its own brand now.
It's a call-up.
So is it really a call-up? NXT is like the shit. Like I see, and I can say that from the perspective of not being an NXT fan, to when NXT finally became its own thing, and I still don't watch it regularly, but when I do, I'm always excited, because
you do watch WWE regularly, don't you?
Well, yeah, but it's always
a call up. It's a call up.
Not, like I said, not necessarily, because NXT holds enough weight of its own now.
No, think about
it. Still not saying like Raw is the main brand. Raw, yes. Raw, SmackDown are the main brands, yes. But NXT being a brand unto itself, in my opinion, still holds enough weight.
No, I hear you. I hear you, but it's still a call up. Where do you think she's gonna make more money? NXT?
No, I'm not. No, you're right. You're right.
It's actually not true anymore.
Oh.
Not true anymore. Once you're an established wrestler on the NXT roster, like Tommaso Ciampa and them, they're getting fucking paid now. If you don't have to be on the main roster to pull that main roster money anymore. They're getting fucking. It's all about the contracts you negotiate. When they renegotiated some of their contracts, some of the NXT guys are getting paid like main roster guys.
Yeah,
At the contract renegotiation.
they're probably getting paid like Zack Ryder. They're probably getting paid like Mojo Rawley. They ain't getting no Roman Reigns money.
No. Remember, the bulk of their money comes from how you negotiate your points off your merchandise and stuff like that. So, like, from what I understand, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, fucking not Keith Lee yet because he hasn't been there long enough. Right. But like Finn and all them before they came up, they were starting to get paid. You know what I mean? But that being said, I see where you come from saying it's a call up because they go to the main roster. Sure. It's the more established brands and da-da-da-da. But at the same time, if it's a call up, did Charlotte just get demoted?
Thank you.
Listen. And I think it's the same thing they did. Here's the thing. I think she did get demoted, but also they're going to use her to reignite the women's division down there.
So yeah, they're going to pull eyes. And then they're going to pull eyes to NXT with Charlotte.
Women's division is probably one of the best divisions.
Yeah. Hear me out. The problem with the NXT division is they just need to get that name. So you get Charlotte to go down and have people have good feuds with her because she's Charlotte Flair. It's going to be better for them, not for Charlotte. Charlotte is losing out of all of this. Who's going to benefit is it's like when a football team gets drafted a really good quarterback. Like it makes the team look better. To have Charlotte Flair now in NXT and the other girls get to have these great matches with Charlotte, the established Charlotte, that's better for the girls. Like y'all looking at it as like it's you giving Charlotte too much credit. Charlotte is losing the most out of everything, but it's to help NXT with her name.
Charlotte ain't losing shit. Her contract don't change, bro.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. Well, you can look at it like that.
As far as I understand what he's saying. Like as far as it's going to put eyes on NXT.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna lie,
But it gives her new challenges on NXT because she fought everyone else on the main roster.
That too.
So I mean,
she's opening eyes to other fighters, including herself.
And the fear is they're gonna have her squashing all the people.
Not necessarily.
I don't think.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
I don't think she's gonna squash people. I think she's gonna have.
If they want to rebrand her or build her, yeah.
And what happens next is what I think is gonna happen, right? NXT just lost, according to Anthony, and this usually does happen. He's right. Once you lose your title in NXT, blah, 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 you move up to the main roster. Right. You just lost Rhea Ripley, white hot.
Or you win and forfeited.
Shayna Baszler, white hot.
Is Shayna going to the main roster, though?
I would like to.
She's already been on the main roster.
Shayna has not done anything in NXT since she started her feud with Becky.
Yeah.
She's definitely going to the main roster.
Yeah. If anything, Shayna's going and Rhea might not go, but Shayna's going.
But my thing is this. Rhea came over from NXT UK.
Right.
And was the person to topple Shayna Baszler.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And then you literally fed her to Charlotte. And maybe I am a little biased because Charlotte rubs me the wrong way with how they use her.
Right.
I always go back to this. Giving her Asuka's streak. They should have never fucking done that. Charlotte was already super over on the main roster.
Yeah,
she was beating everybody. She had mad titles. Boom. Oh, I got it. Let's make her break Asuka's undefeated streak. But
that changed a lot. That changed a whole lot doing that.
And she didn't need it. I agree with Franco in the sense that Charlotte didn't need that.
All over Asuka after that.
Asuka was dead and buried after that.
But even
after they gave her the women's title, she was still buried.
You got to give
Asuka
they gave her
the women's title and did nothing with it.
Well, you got to give one thing. You got to give Asuka credit. After that, she beat Becky while Becky was still the man, and she tapped her out. So that's the one thing that Asuka actually did after losing to Charlotte.
I feel like that was a gimme to Asuka. They're like, yeah, we know we shit on you, so we're gonna give you one.
Yeah.
I don't know, to make her beat Becky at that time and submit her.
What did she do afterwards?
Huh?
What did she do afterwards?
No, I said that was.
It took a while till she
my
got that
point-
tag team title.
Well, my point was that was the only thing she did after she lost to Flair. That was my point.
That's what I'm saying, and that was it. Like she didn't do anything else. Like I would have been cool if she lost to Flair and then was like, "Oh, I got to get back to being, Asuka," and like build herself back up. But it's like she didn't do shit. Like everybody was beating her after that.
Yeah.
Facts. It was terrible.
I was wondering, like, was she hurt?
Yo.
'Cause, yeah, it was nothing. She became a
Yo,
nobody.
y'all want to hear something funny? Last week, Asuka lost clean to Alexa Bliss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did.
Yep.
Not only did she lost clean to her, she lost quickly to her.
Yep.
That's why I
And
think
here's
she's
my
hurt.
thing.
Now, I
And
don't
that's
think
not
she
me
did.
to, I'm not trying to down Alexa Bliss, but I look at how you build characters, right?
Right.
And if you look at Alexa Bliss's character versus Asuka character, whether she's a good guy, Alexa Bliss is a good guy or bad guy. The only way Alexa should be able to beat Asuka is to cheat.
Oh yeah.
She should have to do some kind of cheat move, whatever, according to the way their characters were created.
Right.
Right. Because as far as I'm concerned, Asuka should be a beast in that light.
But here's the thing, though. To be
She
fair,
pinned her with a fucking DDT.
to be fair, according to character, when I look at the Charlotte Flair should have been the only person that should have beat the streak for Asuka. When you look at characters, to be honest.
I don't agree with that
Why not?
because the fact that
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I understand what he's saying, but I don't agree with that. Like Charlotte Flair feuding back and forth with Sasha Banks. According to characters, she could only hold the title for one match.
Yeah, but according to characters,
But
she
who?
beat like
But
everybody.
who can we say other than Charlotte should take that streak though? Other than
Nobody.
it is kind of wrong for Asuka to lose the streak, but we can't see no one else taking the streak away.
Nobody.
I can't see people taking
They could have gave it to Vonda.
No, at that time, we're talking about when she
Ronda's
actually
somebody
won.
who doesn't need the streak. See,
This
here's
was
the
way
thing.
If Ronda didn't break her wrist, she probably would have still been in the WWE.
No, Ronda wanted to take time off.
Yeah, she
And
wanted
she
to
said
get
it
played.
after her
Yeah,
first
she
year.
wanted to start a family.
She's working on it, yeah.
They're trying to have a kid. But here's the thing.
And Netflix
me
dropped
put-
her special too. I didn't watch Ronda's special on Netflix yet.
Yeah, let me put it to y'all in this vein. So, Asuka Street versus the Undertaker's
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania, right?
WrestleMania.
He gave it to Brock. Do y'all think Brock needed that streak?
No.
But I think Brock was the person that could do it though. That's my thing.
But here's the thing about that streak, and the same thing with Asuka's. The whole point of a streak like that and building somebody up like that is at some point they're going to pay it back, right?
Right.
You're going to use that to establish a new star.
Right.
So as far as Asuka streak goes, you had all these other people that were kind of bubbling, right?
True.
Like they weren't on Asuka's level yet. They weren't, top dogs, but they were bubbling. Like people who should be champions or who just needs that one more thing to really put them over fans. I'll give you one person right off the bat. They have all the tools they need to be like a top person, but they can never stay in the top spot. Naomi.
Oh
That
my
could've
God,
been
yes.
A great storyline for Naomi for her to suddenly work up to the air.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Naomi.
They built her up great.
Yeah, but Naomi was already a champion at that point. She was already a
Right,
champion.
but here's my point. I said somebody who has all the tools she needs to be that top person, but even with a championship, she can never kind of get over that precipice because
Classic Booker T line.
because it's like it's always something they leave out because of the way they book her. So now Naomi leaves, she comes back and she's reestablishing herself, right?
Right.
And she was actually going through that at that time, kind of reestablishing herself. What's the one thing that's out there that would blow her up through the roof? Is that Asuka's running through everybody. She's running through everybody. Nobody can stop her. Naomi shouldn't be able to stop her. But against all odds, this underdog comes back and conquers the unconquerable.
Listen, you know me. Naomi, listen, you know me. Naomi is my favorite.
That's only one person I give you an
But
example.
I wouldn't buy her beating Asuka and then all of a sudden being this superstar. Like I don't see that. I don't think people like her like I like her.
You bought Kofi Mania.
Right.
And I'm somebody who I love Kofi Kingston, but I never saw him as a world champion.
Listen, me neither. Me
I
neither.
didn't like how he lost that shit in 3 seconds of his
Well,
big
that
match.
was ass.
The way they built that
Shit
shit
pissed
up,
me the fuck off.
the way they built that shit up, and him and at the time, the new Daniel Bryan, the character he was, the way they built that up, and when Kofi fucking won that shit, yo, Kofi was so fucking hot at that point.
That shit was exciting.
Yeah,
They had to let him keep winning. Had to let him keep winning.
That's what you
But
call,
then what did they do?
Franco.
They fed him the Brock in 3 seconds.
You know why? You know why? The same thing happened to Kofi was nothing but a Daniel Bryan thing. That's called fan service. The fans wanted something so bad, Vince said, you know what? We're going to give it to you, but guess what? You're going to Brock getting that belt. Kofi was straight fan service. It made people feel good.
That was
like
in
they
Brock's
got what they
contract to
wanted.
have the
Bryan
belt.
was straight fan service, and Daniel Bryan legit became a bona fide main eventer.
Yeah. But the difference is Daniel Bryan wasn't out as long as Kofi. I feel like I don't want to take it away from Kofi.
Daniel Bryan's been wrestling as long as Kofi.
But listen. The WWE, I don't want to take too much from Kofi, but I feel like Daniel Bryan deserved to get it more than Kofi. I feel like Daniel Bryan, like his wrestling, I feel like his pedigree is just higher than Kofi. So I feel like when he came out the other end, like he deserved everything and being that dude. Plus, to be honest with you, it's fan service. The yes thing was so big. You've seen people in football doing it. Like it was sustainable to be something you could run with, not so much Kofi, to be fair.
I mean, I can kind of see your point in that, but at the same time, I couldn't see them feeding Daniel Bryan at his hottest point to Brock Lesnar in 3 seconds.
And you know why? Because Kofi.
And I'm gonna go out on a limb on this one, and everybody gets mad at me because it's going to come up when we get to the Bobby Lashley match.
Right.
The reason why they shitted on Kofi like that is because he's black.
Franco. So I'm glad you said it. I didn't want to say it.
Elaborate on that.
I was about to say it.
Listen. I'm glad you said it because I didn't want to say it for my girl Naomi, but she wasn't gonna get that.
Well, yeah.
So I that's why I'm like, don't even.
So let's wrap that up. All right, that was the guy. That was all. Next match.
All right, the next match after Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte, Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley.
Those should have been pre-show. Oh my God! And can I
That was
just
a
say
pre-show
this?
match.
Can I just say this, please? I've been a
Charlotte
Bobby
match should
Lashley
have been after
fan since his original debut in the WWE.
Right.
I thought Bobby Lashley should have been that dude. And it's funny that I didn't watch Impact because on Impact, he was that dude.
So when you talk about him on Impact, Justin, before not to cut you off, make sure you refer to him as the Destroyer Bobby Lashley.
So yes, the Destroyer Bobby Lashley on Impact was the man. Because as far as I didn't watch it, but it's the last I remember, he had multiple belts from like different divisions, and he walked down with like all three of them shit.
I forgot what they called it, but it was like the Grand Champion. He was called.
Damn.
He had every fucking title at the same time.
Yes, nerds, we're still talking wrestling. But so yeah, he was gangster. So when they brought him back to WWE, I thought they was gonna bring some of that with him. So I was hyped when he came back, and boy was I wrong. And I knew I was gonna be wrong, but I was hoping that they'd bring that with him, and they didn't. And I was like,
I'm ready to fucking explode with you. I swear.
Yeah.
I'm ready to explode.
I was hyped because I wanted to see, because they literally, here's what kills me. They literally talk about Bobby Lashley in the exact same light that they talk about Brock Lesnar. Cage fighter, been top of his whatever, doing whatever, when he did it, whatever. Like, they are literally, like, if we're gonna bring it up, fuck it. Bobby Lashley is the Black Brock Lesnar. And they never fought once.
Brock Lesnar is the white Bobby Lashley.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
I'm gonna tell you why. So that match, first of all, Bobby Lashley versus Aleister Black. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I didn't even watch the end of the match. Match pissed me clean the fuck off. Should have been on the pre-show. I literally got up, went and took a piss, got something to eat, started cooking meatballs and spaghetti sauce. Came back and like, oh good, the match is over and it's finished watching Mania. The reason why, right? And you hit it right on the head. So they talk about Bobby Lashley in the same light as they talk about Brock Lesnar. The only problem with that is if you put Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley side by side over the years, let's talk about physical first. Bobby Lashley looks better now
Than he did.
than in his first run.
Hell
Brock
yeah.
Lesnar,
Way better shape.
Hell yeah.
right? Not that Brock Lesnar's all fucked up because he's a different type of build, because he's still a big dude.
Right.
We can't take that away from him. But Bobby Lashley's physique is fucking phenomenal. So Bobby Lashley looks like right now, in the physique he has, if you put him and Brock and anybody else in the match, they had a triple threat.
I know he makes Brock look like a fucking doughboy. He totally makes Brock look like a doughboy.
And shit him out. He's going to eat them all and shit him out. That's the first thing. Second thing, credentials. Their MMA records mirror each other, but I got to look it up again, but I'm almost positive Bobby technically has a better MMA record than Brock.
Stop. So
Bobby has a better record, right?
Stop. Here's the difference. You cannot.
Yeah, I know. Brock fought in UFC.
Okay.
Bobby didn't.
Okay. Yeah, that
UFC, Bellator, because there's MMA fighters that went from UFC to Bellator and got their asses whooped. It's the same thing. It's not about which fighting thing you're in. It's about the caliber of fighters that you fight.
and
Brock's UFC
known
wins
to have
is
the
bullshit.
top fighters in the world, like that.
And then when the contracts expire and Bellator pays them more, they go to Bellator.
Bellator is known for paying more.
You know what I mean? They go there. Like, it's an old thing. But my thing is this, and I don't know if you marking out for Brock Lesnar or not, but my thing is, if you put them in a real life fucking fight, Bobby Lashley will whoop Brock Lesnar's ass. Not only collegiate wrestler like Brock Lesnar, not only an MMA fighter like Brock Lesnar, but a fucking championship boxer too.
Yeah,
He's a bona fide tough ass dude.
so my thing is this, like, I'm
getting an education tonight, so.
Yeah, I'm a Bobby Lashley fan, and I actually wanted to see the match because I like Bobby so much, and I feel like Aleister Black is coming up. It's a shame they had no story. So
Exactly.
I actually wanted to see the match.
Yeah, it was
every time
stupid.
they put Bobby Lashley name in the title picture, I'm like, please God, can I see him go against Brock? But I think they don't want him to go against Brock, because if they stand next to each other, people are gonna be like,
But wait a minute.
yeah, no, I'm all the way there. I'm all the way
For
there.
real.
No, I'm all the way
real.
there, but I just have to say credit where credit's due. I am a huge UFC fan, and it's like college football versus the NFL. Like, you might have some good people, but the NFL is just, your eyes are on it. Like, it's a bigger deal. UFC is a bigger deal. They and also if they had an actual fight, I don't think Bobby's gonna be beating Brock just because of his wrestling. I don't know.
I'll
Lashley
chime in
is
on the
just a good
UFC
wrestler,
Bellator thing.
Yeah, Rich.
There's good fighters in both, and there's shitty fighters in both. So
Yep.
I'm not gonna like say, oh, you know, if the best guy from Bellator versus the best guy from UFC. Guess what? I'm not gonna say anything because they're in the right. Because trust me, there's guys in Bellator who can beat guys in UFC. It just comes down to which
That's what I'm saying.
league they want to go
It's
in.
not about the arena you fight in. It's the caliber of fighter you fight.
Right.
A lot of people left UFC because certain fighters that kept fighting like certain other people, like Ben Henderson. Ben Henderson cannot beat Pettis. So since he kept losing to Pettis, and Pettis was his heel, he went to Bellator because he got a better paycheck, but he could fight other people.
Right.
Pettis went on a run for so long in UFC, but Ben Henderson could not beat him regardless of what happened. When that last was a WC fight or Strikeforce, when Pettis ran against the wall and kicked him in the face and knocked him out, that killed Ben Henderson badly. I was like, Ben Henderson's never going to come back from this shit. So then when they fought twice in UFC, Ben Henderson kept getting his ass beat to Pettis, so he had to go to Bellator. So they're great in both sides, but Bellator picks up a lot of old washed-up people, which, like, it gives us the hype of the fight we want to see. Like, what was it, the Kim Shamrock versus The Hoist Gracie fight.
There's a name I
There's a
haven't
lot
heard
of
in a while.
gives and takes that they have.
That was just garbage. That was just the
I hated that fight though. They were both washed up and it should never happen.
Right.
and Hoist Gracie kicked Ken Shamrock in the balls.
Yeah. I called Hicks and I text message Hicks and Gracie and was like, tell your brother to stop fucking fighting because that shit's washed up and I got tired of that shit.
Yeah, freaking.
Like I know the Gracie family real well, and I messaged Hicks and I was like, look, I love your family, but tell your brother to stop fighting.
Damn. So yeah, that match should have been a pre-show match. And what pissed me off was I called the ending before it happened. Because Chris got Lana out there. And Lana was like, oh, hit him with a spear or whatever. Like he had him on his shoulder. He's about to do something, and he literally dropped him. He was like, oh yeah. Went for the spear and caught that fucking black mat, that black fucking.
Yeah, he was going for the demolition. I think that's what that move was called.
Yeah, probably. But then
the Dominator, yeah.
Yeah, and then Lana was like, spear him or whatever. So he dropped him so he could spear him, and he called that black mass. And I knew it. I just like.
And that shit needs to end real quick too. The whole Bobby Lashley and Lana thing.
I think that's what this match did. It's going to end that relationship.
I'm hoping so.
I'm hoping that's what this match leads to.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
So, all right, next match.
All right, so we got Otis versus Dolph Ziggler.
Now,
pre-show match.
Yes and no. And the only reason I say no, is because I see me in Otis.
Oh my God.
Well, I've always been that dude. So I see me and Otis. So it was great to see. I was watching that match 100% for sheer story. No other reason.
Me too.
I give a fuck less about the actual wrestling. Right. I was really watching that match for
that's
story.
that E in WWE I'm talking about.
Indeed it is. So like for me, so when they did the thing on SmackDown, because I don't know if you've been noticing, but that whole glitchy shit's been happening almost every week on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Worse and worse, and they finally did what it was. So I've been waiting for that to happen.
Me too.
So when it finally happened, you knew what the deal was, and then as you go through the match, you know, Dolph has a good run on Otis. They go a little back and forth, but for the most part, Dolph ran the match. And then Mandy finally came out. I was like, bet.
With her fine ass.
Her extra fine ass. Oh, yeah, she get it 3 ways for Sunday. But, yeah. So I appreciate the match for what it was. To entertain everybody. Wasn't in it for the wrestling at all. So that's why I say not necessarily a pre-show match.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still calling it a pre-show match. I wasn't invested in it. Like, so not to take nothing away from Otis and Dolph, and I understand we all come up with the story because I agree. It was about the story more than anything.
Right.
Whenever it's WrestleMania, my mind goes from here to here when it comes to Mania matches.
That's true. You do expect a higher caliber of match.
And like I feel like that match, if it was on like Raw or SmackDown, I'm like, oh, this match, woo, like that.
Yeah. It could have been on. It could have been on SmackDown.
Yeah, but let me just throw something out there. To be fair, we gotta remember what we're going through right now. Some of the matches probably wouldn't have had. Imagine if we had WrestleMania in the arena, they probably had like the fireworks would have took up time, big elaborate entrances would have took up time.
Oh no, yeah, it wouldn't have been too nice. Understand something. Think about something real quick. Remember, up until this point, COVID hits, they have to do these in-house matches, and every night they pulled out a match from a pay-per-view. So some of these matches that happened
to stretch out just a pay-per-view.
WrestleMania were probably meant for those nights.
Right.
Agreed.
So,
I see where y'all coming from with that.
So to build WrestleMania up, because they didn't have the glitz and the glamour of a normal Mania, we will just huge 2-night event, WrestleMania, first time ever, and that's what they did.
Right.
Because they could have easily, like the Aleister Black match could have been a Raw match, the Otis and Dolph could have been a SmackDown match easily.
Right.
Easily.
They were trying to limit the contact and give them their
Yeah,
own
that's
like
why they didn't have
quarantine
any
for the
like
wrestlers.
no battle royal or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because WrestleMania, they normally do the
Andre the
Giant Battle Royal. I
Yep.
forgot about
Every
that.
third.
They
Yep.
do it on a pre-show, right? Battle Royal.
No?
Yeah, they usually do it on the pre-show.
I think the
Do
first time
they?
it was, and then it got so
Yeah.
big they put it
Oh,
on the
yeah?
pre-show
It's
depending on who was fighting.
Yeah, I've seen it become like the first match
Yeah.
of WrestleMania.
Sometimes it got so big that they put it as a first match, but a lot of the times it was a pre-show.
Okay. Oh, here comes a new challenger.
Next match.
Who's coming in?
Yep, next match.
All right, Edge versus Randy Orton. Last
That
man
was
standing.
That was sick. Oh my God.
All I want to say, and I'll let y'all have this whole match, it was the one match from all the Mania matches that was the perfect match for the environment that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Didn't need an audience. Didn't need a crowd because they were everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were just fucking everywhere. But besides that, that match is a 10 out of 10 for me. Whatever the best rating is, a 5-star match, 4-star match. I love that match.
I totally agree.
I only want to say
Totally
two
agree.
things. I'm gonna be like Franco. I'm gonna say nothing else. One, I heard that eventually they got shut down, and they was like, listen, y'all got to Thursday. The Thursday was supposed to be the last day they was gonna be shooting, whatever week it was. And I heard they was like, listen, y'all are gonna get shut down. I feel like that must have been the match because the whole thing is like you're not supposed to have more than 10 people in the room. At one point in time when they went backstage, it was mad people in the back sitting down. I was like, that's a lot of people. But my second thing, that was funny. But my second thing is, I just think the match was a little bit too long, and that's all.
Well, this is what I'm gonna say about it. I will disagree with that. And it's funny you say that because like I knew, and I'm gonna skip ahead real quick. I knew the Brock match was gonna be shorter. I just knew it was. And I said to Mary, like, look, it's the last man standing match. These matches are long by default. Like, it's just because you literally got to you have to believably beat someone else down till they can't get up to a count of 10.
That is true.
Unless you do it some nefarious way. Because I explained to her, there's been some hilarious last man standing matches. Big Show handcuffed to the bottom rope, Bray Wyatt buried in a desk or in like a sound box or whatever. That was
John Cena duct taping people's legs.
I love that. I love that shit.
So yeah, they tend to
that.
go there with last man standing matches. This one in particular though was definitely one for the ages.
Yeah,
this will go down in
Turn
history.
heel.
And I definitely knew it was gonna. Obviously, the match could only go one of two ways: Randy or Edge wins. But I hope it's not a wasted match, and I say that because if Edge is gonna go through the effort of winning a last man standing match against Randy Orton, he better come back main roster.
Oh, he's main roster. He's
I
doing
wouldn't
another
expect
run.
him to be main roster, but I would want him to win it for revenge of what he did and what he did to Beth, because the way they were selling that match made it great for Edge to win and not still be the main roster, but to make appearances to keep us happy.
Okay. Well, no, my thing, I just don't want him to come out because obviously we're already 2 hours in the Raw. I don't want him to come out tonight because I'm going to watch it after this. I want him to come out tonight and be like, yeah, that was a great match, and I want to thank all the fans, and I want to thank Randy, and no.
No, he definitely.
This is not going to be a one-off.
He's back for a run.
They'll just limit it, right?
I'm hoping.
So he's not going to be every single week, every night, but he's going to have some matches.
You think he'll run the year?
And I'm hoping.
You think he'll run Mania to Mania?
To sell it for like a SummerSlam or something for later? I could see that.
He'll definitely. I think we'll definitely see him on the big pay-per-views. I think we'll see him in some small feuds, and he definitely wants to like work with younger stars and build them up.
Okay.
So I think he's going to put in some time, at least a year. I see him going to next Mania, maybe. Definitely.
WrestleMania's in Los Angeles next year. I'm fucking going.
So
I at least hope before his run is over, they reunite rated RKO. That'd be cool.
Well, I'm hoping that's what this says, because the only other thing I want to say about this, the ending, and then when he bends down, he holds Randy's hand. and I'm not sure if he kissed him or he just kind of did the forehead nod on him.
Yeah.
And he hugged him. So it shows you, yeah, I had to fuck you up because of everything you did to me and my wife, but I love you.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can actually see rated RKO coming out of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I'm good on that. Next match.
All right. So I guess it's still something that happened, but Mojo Rawley and then Grunk, the 24/7.
Real quick, it was funny. It was comedy. It was like it's the E in WWE, like you say, and I'll leave it at that.
The best I can say about the 24/7 title is like it is supposed to be the wackest, shittiest thing, and it's just fucking entertaining.
Right, that's it.
Well,
It's
yeah,
entertaining, but I love it with R-Truth being the fucking winner of that shit. That shit is fucking hilarious. Because he
And
brings
that's
it
the
to
best
Instagram and all his social media platforms. It's
Everything.
fucking hilarious
Yeah,
with him having that belt.
It is.
That is the
He
best
makes
thing
sure
about
you
it is
know
that
he's the champ and it sells that shit. He's gonna get it
no
back. We
matter
know.
who's
Just
the
win.
champ,
Oh yeah.
no matter who's the 24/7 champ, you know R-Truth is going to be the champion at some
Yeah.
point.
Oh yeah.
At one point, they gave a count. I think he's like a 32nd time
Oh,
champ or
yeah.
something. Some crazy shit. Like his count is like ridiculous at this point.
Right.
That's
So yeah,
that's
definitely
great.
like Ant says, that's definitely the E in entertainment.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
follow his Instagram because of where he be
I
doing
do
that
too.
shit. Coming out of
That
a trunk
shit's
of a
funny
fucking
as hell.
Uber and taxi driver. I was like, this is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that shit was good. All right, so what was after that, Dub?
All right, tag team championship match: Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory.
You know what? As much as I love the Street Profits, that could have been a pre-show match for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I knew what the outcome was going to be.
It was a filler match. You know
Yeah, it
what
was
I'm
a
saying?
filler match. They weren't going
It
to
was
give
a
it to
filler
Garza
match.
and whatever dude's name was because he's literally been on 2 shows.
Yeah.
Austin Theory.
Austin Theory.
Austin Theory, he's been
Austin
on
Theory.
2 episodes. He's been on
Well, he's from
episode,
NXT.
Yeah.
an episode of, well, I mean, yeah, he's from NXT, I know that, but I mean, as far as like main roster, he's been on an episode of Raw and WrestleMania. Like,
Well, I think that happened because of Andrade. Yeah, Andrade couldn't wrestle anymore, so they had to put that together real quick.
Yeah.
but and even then, I feel like they wouldn't have lost those belts yet because they're still pushing them to.
Right.
And I mean, and I here I come being negative, man. I don't like the Street Profits.
You don't like the Street Profits?
Yo, hold on. I know I got a red cup around here somewhere.
I know.
It's funny you said that, right? And this is what's fucked up about it. It goes all the way back to NXT to D'Angelo Dawkins. Fucking hate him.
Right.
I fucking hate him because I feel like they did the same thing with him that they did with fucking Prime Time. They said,
Prime Time, man. That's throwback right there.
let's get some black wrestlers and put them together,
That's a
make them
deep
niggas.
cut.
My cousin's the
And
one that
D'Angelo
spray
comes
painted all their
out, and
clothes
this is
for
what he
him.
does.
Well,
I'm
not
staring up the crack.
for
Staring up the
nothing
crack
though.
for the white people. Staring
Jason
up the
Jordan.
And he's not a great wrestler. I said it.
I agree with that. No, I agree with no, he's not. Angelo Dawkins is not a great wrestler.
They're entertaining in some situations.
I like their shtick. Yeah.
I kind of don't think they should have got the tag title so soon though.
Right.
I don't know. It's something
That surprised me. Them getting a belt surprised me.
It's something about them.
Well, I can see him losing them sooner than later.
I'll tell you what
But
the
it's like
issue
I
is.
want to like them.
I think the issue is you could see that Dawkins just doesn't really bring much besides maybe he could be the bigger guy. At some point, he's just gonna fall off, and what's his name is just gonna take off because he got all.
No,
this
he is. He's a straight guy. He's a straight man to what's his name?
What?
Montez Ford.
Montez Ford's
yeah.
energy.
Montez Ford.
Yeah, he's like the yin to Montez's yang.
Right.
Yeah.
But Montez,
I think when they break up, I almost feel like Montez Ford and him together is going to hurt Montez Ford's career in the long run.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to be tight cast together, and then once they break up, like Montez Ford is not going to break out like Shawn Michaels did when they broke up him and Marty Jannetty.
Right.
It's just not going to
No, I feel
The
you.
only way he's going to do that is he's going to have to go back to NXT and go after the cruiserweight title.
Yo, you stupid.
And that's not taking anything away from the cruiserweight division, but I think that's the only place he can really shine.
Well, yeah, because Montez is like what, $130 soaking wet.
Yeah, he's light.
He's kind of tall though.
He's not 130, but he's light. But I just because his character is not very well developed. If y'all pay attention.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's definitely a tag team guy. He won't be good as a solo guy just yet, but I could see it one day.
Yeah.
But it depends on what they make him. But the best part of that match, Franco, you will have to agree, was they brought out our baby, the roughest, the toughest, the bestest.
The EST, baby.
EST. Sorry, we're big fans. We're big fans.
Oh, that was deep. I thought that was hot. It was unexpected. I thought that was hot.
Looking at her dance, because we all know they're married.
Right.
But he was
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He like slid across the ring, got the belt, and then he was like sitting behind her butt doing this.
I peeped that. Oh, I did not know they was married. That's what's up.
Yeah, they're married. That's why
It's
she was
funny because me and Mary looked up a bunch of stuff. We found out that what's his name, Aleister Black, is married to Zelina Gomez.
You didn't know that?
What's her name?
Yeah,
we know he looked it up.
Instagrams with that shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were just looking it up like, holy shit, like just all the different, because it was like the different couples that make it so deep.
Hold up. Do you know who Charlotte Flair's with?
Yeah, she's with what's his name, Andrade.
Yeah.
She likes them
And
smack boys.
Keith Lee and Mia Yim is together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Keith Lee who?
Mia Yim.
Okay, good.
Okay, what the fuck was that, Eugene?
Oh, my bad. I'm watching Raw.
So what you was masturbating?
Watching it Raw.
He did a
No,
3-second beat.
They just announced something, so I'm not going to tell y'all. But it made me clap.
Next match. Let's stop him now. Next match.
That's what it sounded like to me.
All right. So, guys, we got the SmackDown Women's Championship match. That was Bayley versus Sasha versus Lacey versus Tamia versus Naomi.
I was fucked up.
I like everything about that match.
I got confused for a second. I'm like,
they
what
had
the
to
fuck?
jump Tamina.
Hey, listen, that's just going that perfect psychology of the match. That's the same thing they did to John Cena in the Elimination Chamber a couple years ago. Like, they had to jump him in order to get him out. Same thing they did to Tamina. But me personally, my favorite matches, that's why Survivor Series is my favorite pay-per-view, is elimination matches. So
yeah, I love elimination matches.
I love elimination matches. So I was all in on that match.
I wanted to see a little bit more development between Bayley and Sasha, because I really thought they were gonna. Because I'll be honest with you,
that development is coming. It's
as
coming.
many times as Sasha done Bayley dirty, I wanted to see Bayley do Sasha dirty.
All right, Rich.
Later, bro.
All right, Rich. You know what? I agree with you. I feel like the only place for them to really go, though, is for now Bayley and Sasha to beef, for Bayley to turn on Sasha. I mean, Sasha to turn on Bayley.
Right.
And for them to beef, because that's going to be a great feud.
Yeah, and that's where the buildup was going, and I feel like they didn't pull the trigger last night.
But who's going to be the face? Who's going to be the heel in this feud?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I wanted Bayley to turn on Sasha this time.
Because I like where Bayley's at right now. Don't turn face again.
Heel versus heel. I think it's going to be heel versus, because Bayley's heel character is just too over right now.
Yeah.
But if you pay attention, JBL is still selling the whole Sasha only cares about Sasha.
Right.
Da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? But I can definitely see when it's heel versus heel, Sasha's going to get the face rub out of that.
Yeah.
Because the way Bayley's character is now, she, like, you gotta hate her, yo.
Yeah.
Sasha came back and helped her win, and like when Sasha slapped her, you see Bayley got on the road. Nobody can beat me. I'm the best.
Yeah.
Like, she completely just disregarded the fact that Sasha helped her win.
I don't know if y'all been noticing this, and I'm sure you have, but Franco, I'm going to bring up something that has nothing to do with wrestling that you did earlier with Nikki Cross. Lately, me and my wife been calling Bayley Booty Bayley.
Yeah, she got a fatty too.
Y'all
she got
are
nice
so
booty.
behind the curve on that.
No, yeah, I've been saying that shit for months.
No.
I was sitting there watching wrestling with Mary. I was like, yo, Bayley got a fat ass. She was like, yep.
Yo, lately, it's like
had a fatty since NXT, but it's been her ring gear. But since she turned
her gear
heel,
threw her off.
Yeah, since she turned heel, and if you pay attention, she's still wearing kind of the same gear, but now they're letting you really see her ass.
Yeah.
When she was a face, they really played down her body for some reason.
I'm
Like,
like,
Bailey might not be the best looking chick in the face, but her body is.
Listen, my nickname is Booty Bailey. Like,
I agree with that nickname 100%.
Yes.
Bailey looks better out of wrestling than she does in wrestling because they be having her put too much shit on her face. That fucks her up. Same as that conversation we had what was that, like a week and a half ago, where we saw all their natural, no makeup on?
Yeah,
we had a cool conversation on that.
That was a good ass photo shoot.
Hell yeah.
They all look better without makeup.
Hell yeah, hands down.
All right, so next match.
Oh man, John Cena versus the Fiend. Bray Wyatt.
All right, I've been waiting for this. I've literally been waiting for this all night. So this is the thing for me with that match.
Okay.
For me, and I love how they took a line from John Cena when he cut the promo, talk about the most overrated, overhyped, overappreciated, over-gifted wrestler, and they used it towards the end of that match. Because for me, that match was literally, I love how, first of all, I was pissed. I was initially so pissed because John Cena came out on the ramp, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then the whole Firefly Funhouse thing showed up, and I was like, oh, thank God. And then it became John Cena, this is your life, and this is why people think, and this is why people don't like you. And it went from early on, they parodied the whole Kurt Angle, they parodied NWO, they parodied like people like Macho Man and Hogan and whatnot. And at the very end, it was like John Cena going through all the different iterations of John Cena and how he's basically gone on squashing people, burying people, and how he's the overrated, overhyped, overgifted, and this is what should have happened 6 years ago. For me, that's what made that match so hot because it was so psychological. Obviously, it was cinematic, but it was psychological as hell. And then the way they finished it off with no real ref, no real 3 count, just a mandible claw and the Fiend standing over John, and literally like the Fiend ending John. Because like John just disappeared. And it was over. That shit for me was fire.
So let me chime in on that. I agree with everything you said. I took something else from that match though.
Okay.
Well, 2 things I took from that. One, I think it was righting a wrong. So what I noticed about John Cena in a lot of interviews, he often second guesses a lot of the decisions that are made in matches he was in. And he actually said one of the biggest mistakes they did in the match was when they let him beat all the members of Nexus. When he wrestled all the Nexus and he beat them all. And he said in hindsight, he's like, I should have fought for them more. I disagree with it, but, I was told this is what we want. And then me being a company guy, I just went with it. I think he was righting a wrong of him beating Bray when Bray was fucking hot.
Yeah.
I think he realized it was time to do that. The second piece I took from this is the same thing I took from the Boneyard match. I think we're seeing John's exit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's a part-timer. He just comes back for big matches. But I think John is now moving over. And he's stepping away.
Yeah.
He's starting to do big in movies.
He's
so
doing
he can
a lot
step
more,
away
he's
gracefully now.
He's in Fast
TV
9.
shows too. Yeah.
And he's been doing big things in movies. But I think this is John giving back now.
Yeah.
Now he's back to give back. And like Justin said, them going through all the iterations of him, I thought that was so fucking cool because on one hand, like Justin's looking at it, was like, yeah, they're showing that he was overhyped, overrated, overgifted, everything. But I think because he came back to give the rub to Bray and put Bray over, I think that was Bray's way of paying homage to John Cena's career.
Right. It was like a This Is Your Life, John Cena.
Yeah, he's like, I'm giving you a big shout out by letting you go through all this and showing how much you've changed, how much you've done over your career. So I think on one hand, it was definitely a big shout out to John Cena. But on the flip side of it, it was John Cena coming back and saying, yo, I need to put you over. Like, yes, the Fiend is white hot, Bray Wyatt is white hot, but I buried you when you should not have been buried.
Yeah.
I need to put you over. And like you said, still another line from John Cena, stole another line when he said, it's time to right a wrong. You know what I mean? And Bray said that in one of the vignettes building up to it. So I think, although I like the Boneyard match the most, it's like a cut hair difference in how much I like those two matches. I think that like you said, I think it was the cinematography of the Boneyard match that really did it for me because it was so gritty. And what's that you like to say, Eugene? It was so cool and edgy. It was so cool and edgy. But the Firefly Funhouse, I think, like Justin said, that psychological piece of it.
Now,
and I wouldn't even call it a match.
No,
well,
not at all.
It was, so from Anthony again, this was the E in sports entertainment at its best.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna jump in on that. My only thing I didn't like about it, in a weird way, so where everybody could say, "Oh man, he gave Bray credit." I almost feel like in a teeny bit they slighted Bray because there was no actual real ref that gave Bray an actual win, and that bothered me. I just wish it was actually considered Bray actually or the Fiend did beat John Cena, like, because it wasn't like a legit he beat him. I felt like they could at least made a ref. He could have magically made a ref like appear out of nowhere and be like, "Oh," and got the 1, 2, 3, and we.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I was hoping for that in Bray, Fiend pins John, or Mandible Claws John, Bray appears in a ref shirt, lifts the arm, and it drops.
Yeah, even
that would have been sick.
Yeah, even
that's the one change I would have made.
Bray,
so I see that.
Because Bray did come out with the 1, 2, 3, but even if Bray at least had a ref shirt, but Bray did come out.
That would actually been funny.
Yeah. But you would have been like,
it does count as a win because it's the Firefly Funhouse match. So shit is different, right? So it counts as a win.
Right. Now here's the one thing you guys didn't say at all, and I'm hoping one of the hottest things that happened with John Cena, and I can't remember what it was. Was it Mania last year? Well, remember when he came out as the basic Thugonomics, right? And everybody went crazy. He played to the character. And he literally came out and was like a bad guy. This is what I'm hoping, and none of y'all mentioned this.
I wanted that heel so bad. I was happy as fuck.
Me too. Now, when he beat the hell out, so first of all, the whole thing, if you go back to when they fought before and he beat Bray, remember, this is what I'm thinking of psychologically is Bray, they show Bray on his knees, and he said, "Go on, John, years ago, this is what you should have did. You know you want to." John remember, John put the chair down years ago. Now, John just disappeared. So what? And then John ended up beating him until he was beating Huskies. What I'm hoping is that when they made John disappear, that they're saying the goody two-shoe John is finally gone, and maybe he can ride it out as a bad guy.
If John comes back,
that he
if John comes back for one more heel run, I'm fucking done.
Dude,
hell no.
That would be my
Bray helped him. They helped him build that for that heel turn, and then it went away, and I was like, fuck, if that would have happened, I would have been so onto that shit.
But no, think about it. That makes a lot of sense. Because let's just conspiracy theory that shit real quick. Because ever since the Fiend became a thing, the one thing that's a constant when they refer to the Fiend is that the Fiend changes
people.
Yeah.
So if that, oh man.
In the match, John broke. John actually tried to hit him with the chair. John was beating him, like that's not John Cena type stuff.
And then you saw John Cena sit there like, oh shit, am I gonna really turn heel? Or am I gonna go back to who I am? That conflict between that match was a great selling point because we all got into that our tension and the buildup of them, John being sitting there like, am I gonna turn heel or not?
Right.
Am I gonna do this? Do not? That shit was crazy.
Yeah, that's why that was my favorite match in Mania.
That's cool.
Hell yeah.
All right. So what we got left? Last match, right?
All right. So, yeah, we're gonna go into that Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre.
All right. So ain't much here to really talk about. I feel like it ended how we knew it was gonna end. At least for me, I knew Drew was taking that shit.
Right.
And
I was nervous.
I wasn't 100%
I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I feel you. So it made for a decent match because it did start off with some actual wrestling before Suplex City.
Right.
And then but yeah, for Drew to kick out of 3 F5s, which has never happened.
And but sell each one of them though. He sold each one of them, but they
He did.
kicked out.
And Brock kicked out of a Claymore too. They said that's the only person to kick out of a Claymore.
So so it made for a good match, and I respect it for what it is. But yeah, like I said, I knew it wasn't going to be super long. I pretty much had an idea what the outcome was going to be. They could have let Brock hold it, but I got a point to make about that in a second. But for the most part, I liked it, and I liked how WrestleMania ended.
I was cool. Yeah. This is my only part I will say. Now, all the people that hate, all the people that's really upset the fans wasn't there, I wasn't too bothered. But this is the moment you lose. This is the moment where all the fans go crazy, fireworks go off, Drew get that 100%, dude, you got it.
Well,
I agree with you on that.
100%. That's where you can say
accentuated by the fans.
That's where you can say it was great, but it didn't feel like WrestleMania.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
without that send off, the person who ended up winning at Mania, fans go crazy. And the cool thing is, this is one of the moments where they was able to, okay, people that you may not like, you didn't have to worry about the fans booing. But for Drew winning, people would have went crazy, and that's the part of Mania that you're like
went fucking nuts.
Yeah,
everyone wanted and expected Drew to win that one.
Yeah, and we went crazy. So,
because I said to myself, I was like, Drew has to win this shit. If he's in WrestleMania, I was like, he has to win WrestleMania.
I wouldn't have been shocked.
They built him up.
Though.
Yeah. So, fellas,
I wouldn't either. Not the way Brock's bullshit contract is.
But I wouldn't have been shocked if Brock won. I'd have been pissed.
Oh yeah, no, I would have been shocked, and I definitely would have been pissed.
Well, we can't say we wouldn't be surprised if he kept.
I definitely would have been like, these motherfuckers right here.
Yeah.
But you know what the funny part is? My thing is, I really wanted Drew to win as a heel. While he was the full-on Scottish psychopath.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was gonna get it then. I did think he was
gonna
get
it.
And terrorize the Raw.
I feel like he hasn't gone full face.
Right.
Like
he's a tweener.
He's still anti-hero. Like I feel like he hasn't gone full face yet.
He's a good bad guy.
Yeah.
I think they were trying.
Great pleasure in Claymore kicking random people.
I think he had that edginess, and I think they was maybe gonna test the waters with him being a face by the whole 3, 2, 1. I think that was their test, but I think they realized people like him being so edgy.
Yeah, they can lose that 3, 2, 1 countdown shit.
Yeah,
that's
I'm good without
right
that.
there.
I'm good without that. So that was WrestleMania 36. Damn, Dub. We talked about an hour. We took it to 3 again.
Oh well,
right?
Well, this was different because we had a lot to cover.
Hey, shit.
No, you're
I'm catching up with WrestleMania with y'all talking about it. Shit.
We had a whole lot to cover. This is gonna be my final word on WrestleMania. Unfortunately, WrestleMania took place during this pandemic, and I feel like that obviously that affected a lot of what happened. I felt like, and I brought this up earlier, I was going to bring this back up again, as far as belts leaving certain people, it was like 50-50. I thought a lot of the belts weren't going to change hands only because it's hard to create a storyline in such a chaotic time. So I thought a lot of belts wouldn't change hands because of that. I was wrong, and I'm glad I was wrong. But some stuff I feel like I knew. Like obviously I knew Goldberg was going to lose his because he's not main roster. Can you even call Brock Lesnar main roster?
Not at all.
Personally, no. So
Because Brock Lesnar only shows up for main events.
Yeah, so I knew he was going to lose.
He's an attraction.
Yeah, so I pretty much knew he was going to lose his belt too. And I feel like good for them. I want them to go home. I'd rather them go home, be safe. And for what WrestleMania was, because it wasn't WrestleMania, but for what it was, I appreciate the effort and the artwork that they put out there.
Yeah.
And that's my final word on WrestleMania 36.
Well, my final word on WrestleMania 36, although I still feel like it didn't have that WrestleMania feeling and that aura, what I hope WWE takes from it is during this health crisis, during the pandemic, whatever, I think they found a really good formula on how to do their weekly shows if they're going to continue doing weekly shows. I think it's smart to keep, the limited people around. I think you need to have more of these kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? These special matches, I'll just use a basic word. These kind of special matches and special moments, I think they did a good job with that. Would I have gone on and had WrestleMania? No. I think I would have built this as, something WrestleMania-ish. But overall, I think they did a great job, and I agree that I'm just glad that all the performers are healthy and safe, and that they remain healthy and safe. And hopefully, Miz, send my wishes out to him. Hopefully, he's good to go. And I have a lot of respect for Roman Reigns in making that decision to protect his health.
Absolutely.
Our entertainment. And I respect WWE for allowing him to do that.
Definitely.
That's cool. I just want to say I am very appreciative of them letting the show go on. And I'm not sure if they needed to do the 2-night thing because I know they planned that for some years, or maybe it's good that they did do it because they had to make up for the lack of spectacle it was. So I'm not sure if it was good or bad to have the 2-night thing, but I want to take my hat off to WWE for letting the show go on. For me, that was really cool. I'm a wrestling fan. And I'm glad they just say, you know what? The whole world is crazy in 2020, and we're just going to go along with the crazy narrative and let it rock. And like Franco, I'm happy the wrestlers are safe, and hopefully they continue to be safe. And I just want to, I'm a fan, and I'm just thank WWE, that they did it. So, it gave me something.
I would have been mad for my subscription if they didn't give us something as good as what we watch. For what we're paying for monthly.
Facts. So, Eugene, your last word on WrestleMania 36.
Like I said in the beginning, it was a good show for what they was working with. So I can appreciate the effort they put into it.
All right.
As far as the performers go, it showcased their real talent without a crowd to feed off.
It really did. Really, this whole couple weeks have.
Oh, the one last thing I'll say is I hope what they do is they keep some of these camera angles. Some of these close-up camera angles was really cool. Like, that's what actually kept me into some matches.
Well, that's
like,
right.
sometimes that pan back, like, you don't be as engaged because I know they want to get the fans, but every so often they need to zoom in and have some of these angles where you're like, oh, you felt that. I will say that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was talking about when I said I really hope they use this as a formula for the shows, because and I'm glad you pointed out the camera angles, because that's really one of the big things that they saved it. And I know we were last word in WrestleMania, but I need to give a shout out for something during this pandemic. And I don't know if I'm the only one catching this. I love the fact that WWE, the performers, Triple H specifically did this, and Asuka. I love the fact, and actually John Cena did it during Mania. The fact that they're playing with the fact that there's an empty arena. The fact that John Cena came out to do his entrance, paused, and looked around and was like, there's nobody here. Should I really do the whole entrance? And the fact that Triple H on one of the first empty arenas, right out said, oh man, Asuka came down to interfere. The reason why nobody saw her is she came through the crowd so nobody could see her. And then the fact that Asuka came around on the ramp like she was playing up for the crowd. And I noticed a lot of the performers are doing things just like that. Right. And then on the flip side of it, a lot of the performers are going out of their way to pretend like they don't notice that there's no crowd. Right. Like when Angel Garza did the plancha out of the ring, and then he turns around to the empty crowd and goes, WrestleMania!
Yeah.
That was awesome. He completely didn't look at the camera on purpose. He looked directly where there would be fans at and fucking played up to the fans. So that's another shout out I want to give to the WWE that they're doing that I don't think a lot of people are catching that I think is fucking awesome. Hey, look, it's Rich.
Rich, you got any last words for WrestleMania 36?
Not really. I mean, it's going to go down in history because of what it is.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree with that.
But, I mean, overall, I mean, they did their best.
Definitely.
All right, Chris.
I'm on the edge fight right now, but like what everyone said, I like the fact that they gave us something to watch. The fact that all of us are paying for prescription or sharing prescription. They showed that even though we can't live there, see all the people's reaction, they still done their best to give us a show and a pay-per-view of something that we deserve. Between like what everyone said with the shots and the selling and how they're showing like we can do more out-of-ring matches, like the Boneyard match and other matches, they showed us the variety that WWE said, you know what, we're in hard times. So what we're going through, we can't give the fans what they want of being there in person, but we still have a product to sell to show us that like we're committed to still give you guys what you need so we could be here right now talking about what we're talking about.
That's what's up.
So my hat's off to them, and I appreciate it. I do kind of miss without the fans, but I'm glad WWE still took a risk, and the wrestlers took a risk to ensure, like for what we were saying earlier, they're limiting the weekly matches like on Raw and other stuff so they could sell and give us this big match. So in my perspective, what I'm thinking is a lot of the wrestlers were quarantined on their own, but still trying to sell the match to watch the health of our wrestlers so we can still be excited to see what we want to see.
Word.
Indeed. All right. I think I'm going to call it here. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been watching the stream, you have been watching the Mighty J.A.D.E Empire podcast. This is our second pilot episode. I want to thank Franco, a.k.a. Nitty Mac, for being here. Captain Planet, Black Dragon, a.k.a. UG, for being here. Rich is, wow.
AllPurposeChamp. Showing us the ceiling.
Yep. SD Neil, Boy from Destiny. Chris, thank you for showing up.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank everybody for being here. This is not the last time you're going to see us together again. We are going to continue to do this. I think I'm going to call it there. Fellas, good stream.
All right, let's talk about stuff afterwards.
All right, gentlemen, y'all have a good night. Thanks for watching.
I'm just doing it to the stream, man.
Thank you for watching the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And now, your mama knows.